is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quick. Weaken our imagination, regain our inner child, and that inner child
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine Ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. In the darkest of nights, gonna let my light shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. I'm becoming fearless. What is up, everyone?
It got me through the hardest.
It's your main man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme, right here each and every Saturday night on Fearless. And I'm joined by my etherical translator and co-host, Paula Milo.
Hey everyone, just setting up.
So I hope the new intro went over well. I was actually looking for some help getting that done, and it's funny. The more I go, I want help because I can't do it.
Thank you.
I immediately get hit with the, well, you're going to learn it.
And you learned it. Now you can do it.
Where you going?
I have to get a tissue in case that.
I hope everybody's doing great out there tonight. I trimmed the beard.
Oh, all the way down.
Everything's opposite on the screen.
I like it though.
Thanks.
I was afraid.
You thought I took off too much?
In the beginning when you came out and you were like, I did it, I shaved.
I
was
shaved.
like, oh my God, what did you do? But I would love it anyway. But
No one can hear you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Paul is very exhausted.
We super adulted this week, and we were ahead of a schedule as far as Friday night, and then today was like a free. We could do anything we wanted because everything was done ahead of schedule, and the two of us fell asleep.
And it was like 5:30.
I know. We had
I woke up, the sun was
sandwich, did it.
The sun was just going down. I looked up.
I know.
And then everything just started twilighting.
I know.
And I was like, oh, good. It's still early. And it was like 8:40.
I don't know what happened. You woke up.
It's like fucking 50 degrees outside right now. It feels like Halloween.
Yeah. So we had a late lunch. And I said to Frank, I'm just going to take a little nap. And he said, yeah, we got plenty of time before the show. Take a nap. Everything's done. Everything was done. Cats were fed. Everything was done. And so I said, okay, I'm going to go in the bedroom and take a nap. I think I'm going to take a real nap, like not on the couch nap. And he said, yeah, that sounds good. As soon as I walked into the bedroom, he was snuggled on the couch with Luna. And I don't remember anything else. And then I heard you go, oh my God, it's almost 10 o'clock or whatever you said, 9 o'clock or whatever. And then I got up and I thought it was the next day.
I slept so good for that amount of time. I don't even know what happened. And it's a rarity.
It was glorious. It was like a glory. And then, of course, baby bear.
Yeah, we have a new thing. The cats are either extra annoying.
Vocal, maybe.
I think everyone's looking for more attention, maybe.
Yeah, I think they're realizing that the cats that talk, the cats who talk,
get
more attention than the cats who don't talk. So now everyone is talking, and it's like I can't. And uppies, everyone wants. Teddy just got me.
Yeah, no, he got me before too. He was like, "Am I supposed to be up here right now?" I said, "Yeah, let me give you some treats." And he,
That's what I did too. I gave him on the count. Yeah, that's what I did.
I'm like, "Teddy, don't look so
I
surprised."
know. I said, come on the counter. And he went, what? And he went on the counter.
Our cat
and I
Teddy
gave him
snuggles.
treats. And he went like this.
He'll lay on the bed. He
Yeah.
doesn't like if you grab him or anything.
No,
or
no,
do,
no.
you can't pick him up
you
and
can't
shit.
touch him.
But man, you jump in that bed, especially me,
Yeah,
and
he'll hold your feet.
he'll lay on your foot and hold it like, and then just sit there. He'll nibble on your toe and shit. It's the funniest thing.
It is the cutest thing.
Everyone's got a little something, something.
Oscar has been Oscar, as everyone knows, Oscar's not feeling well. He's got to go in for another surgery. So he's been half living under the blanket in the bed. And
Cats have this disease where it's like your body fights your teeth off as an infection.
oh yeah, he's allergic to his tooth enamels. He's
so
got
your fucking
stomatitis.
teeth.
So anyway, he lives half his life under the bed. And then Frank and I, every time we go into the bedroom, we make sure he can breathe. And then we lift up the covers and we're like, come on, Oscar, come out. And
He was scaring me for a minute. I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
jump
No.
in bed one day and he's not gonna jump because he's under the blanket. So I like to just like flop in bed.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
It's like dropping the Randy Savage elbow.
Can't do it.
And I did it once and he fucking jumped.
Yeah,
and I went, what the fuck is it? Like, you gotta really be careful.
Yeah, but he knows now he wants to snuggle with you.
Now,
but-
yeah, now it's snuggle
so
buddies.
he was under so he lives half his time. So every day we go in and we make sure like we pull him out from underneath the blankets because it's like 95 degrees under there. And when he wants to stay under, he'll let you know because he'll scurry back under. And Teddy will snuggle. So Oscar will be under the blanket and Teddy will be over the blanket, and then he'll hold him through the blanket. They sleep together.
It's wonderful.
He snuggles the lump in the bed. It's the cutest thing.
It's a beautiful little family.
It is.
Shout outs to everyone that's joined us tonight. I know we're a little late, and my
A
apologies
lot
again.
late, yeah.
And I hope everything sounds well, goes well. We're just gonna rock and roll from here on out because of everything that's been going on. Shout outs to my man Matt McDonald. If you want to see, come into the Fearless group and check out some of the pictures that Matt's been putting up.
Oh yeah, you want to see healthy looking plants? Those are healthy looking plants. My goodness.
He's got a green thumb.
Oh yeah.
With the green leaf.
Yeah, but that's love too. That he's doing something.
I've never seen nothing like it, man. Now New York, it's legal now. Marijuana and everything. You can grow, you can do all kinds of things, right? So even as a kid, we would just throw seeds in cups and shit and whatever, watch them grow, and they never, ever, 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 ever grew anything like you would see in pictures ever.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then you used to have to kill the males because the males would, get the females pregnant, and then you'd have no more weed. I feel like now in the future we're here, and it's like a moment we've been waiting for a long time. And soon as it came up, right, I said to myself, man, I got to get myself a better green thumb if I'm going to try to enjoy this part of my life now without any hesitation. And Matt, whatever he seems to touch, just boof.
Yeah.
I've never seen nothing like it. And we used to look at High Times magazines as kids and just be like, wow, if I was in a field of that, dude sending me pictures like, oh, dude, look at this, look at this, look at. And I'm like, holy shit, you do that? So even the weirdest, simplest things now in life, like planting seeds and getting them to grow, have become one of the most important things. Okay, so before I go through the rest of the list, satisfying. You specifically have been uber satisfied, but not satisfied enough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What has been your the height of your being satisfied?
Oh, planting. Well, we built the table so you all know our story because everybody knows our story. The world knows.
You said you said it before. You said I want my hands in dirt
all the time.
I need to do it.
I love it. We have
the whole front of the house looks gorgeous.
Yeah, so we, everyone knows we rent an apartment in the Bronx, and we only have like a concrete patch, like a pathway, and every spring we put stuff out, and this spring Frank and I went buck wild, so we hey, we have two dog houses out there for the cats. We have a couple of resident strays. We take care of a colony of cats, and we have a couple of residents that don't want, they, no matter what happens, they don't want to be inside cats, so they live outside. And hi Della. And we have a couple cats that live in the dog houses. So this year we decided to reinforce that, because we got a lot of snow last winter and we got a lot of rain. So hi. So we built this table. We didn't realize it was going to be a table. We just thought it was going to be a cubby for the dog houses. We didn't realize how effective and how cool
I
this table
literally
was going to
saw
come
it in
out.
my head. I said, what if we covered this area? You're losing too much
Oh
surface
yeah, it was
area. You
perfect.
specifically, I thought of you over and over, and I said,
Yeah.
what can I do for Paula? Nothing seems to whatever. There's too
There's
tight.
no room.
There's no room.
We do everything in planters and pots, and we always run out of room by the end of the summer.
And then I said, we got to go vertical a little bit.
Yeah, so we built this table.
I kept seeing it in the dream. So maybe this has been happening to some of you at home. You keep having a
Very
recurring
vivid dreams,
where you
yeah.
know exactly what you want. You know you got to do something, but you don't know how to do it. Technically, you kind of have an idea,
yeah.
but you don't. And you're like, I don't even know where to start, but I would love to do this. So it was a year in the making, and then it just went down. She said something to me, and then I went, can I talk to you for a second? I've been wanting to do this for you for a year, but I'm a little, I don't know how to do it. I want to build a table and do all this stuff, but I want the houses to sit in it, so they're not really like sitting on the floor and getting soaked, and just these little details fucking blew up into this wonderful little event.
Perfectly executed.
I think my father laughed a little bit when I said, and because he thought it was good, I thought he was going to make fun of me. I said, Paula and I built this.
Yeah.
And then he like looked at me. He was like, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, like, okay, where's the joke now? Go ahead. You're going to say, what do you mean Paula built this with you? Because he's expecting me to say, I built this and Paula helped me. And it was like, no, that's not actually what happened. My father, being a guy that just does that, he used to look at me like, you don't know. First of all, I'm on good terms with him, so I'm not going to shit on him. But when I was growing up, he's like, who the fuck taught you that? Who taught you how to do that? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. He's like, well, what do you mean you don't know what you're doing?
I'm 12, and
well, no one actually showed me. We don't have fucking YouTube videos.
I don't own a hammer.
Yeah, and mom didn't know. I mean, you sent me to her when I asked you what. I said, he says, you can ask me any question in the world, son. We were driving in the car. I was sitting in the back seat, kind of hanging out. Right? It was back when there was ashtrays in the cars. Right?
Ashtrays in the cars.
Yeah.
You had my cousin Lorraine.
He was smoking cigarettes. He was
had
smoking
one
a cigarette.
To the dashboard.
They used to sell them. You had the little flip ups.
And
then he said, son, how are you? You okay? I said, Dad, I love you, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you can ask me if you have any questions about life. You can ask me anything you want. And I said, Dad, I got a question. He goes, what's that? I go, and I was being made fun of for a long time prior to this. And I was really young. And I said, what does jerking off mean? And he stopped the car. I fell into the front seat because seat belts don't have them. Right. And then nobody wore those shits. And I went right over. And then I got up. I was like, whoa. And if I was standing up on the seat, I was a little taller than him. So that's how small I was. I was like kicking my feet in the back. And he said, all right, you're going to have to, you should go talk to your mother about this. So I was like, what? So he's like, you're going to go talk to your mother about it. Right. So I went and asked my mother one day, and she just
explained the whole thing.
She explained the whole thing. No problem. There was no, and I said, oh, that's what I thought that was. And then I went outside and acted like I knew what was going on, because all my friends were older, and they were like, you don't know what jerking off is? They were like, go ahead. What is it? What do you think it is? And I'm like, someone that you don't like in the street and you yell things. I've heard people yell, you fucking jerk off. Right?
Well, you're a kid. You don't know. All right. So anyway, back to the table. So you're telling your dad you built this table, and you're waiting for a punchline, but there was none because he was proud of you.
Nothing. But when you talk about construction with your girlfriend, like me and my lady did this together, and then it's like that. Someone will go,
yeah, but you have to understand, my father
I'll be like, look, dude, she's like a supervisor.
My father wanted
like boys. A foreman.
Yeah, I am a good foreman. My father wanted boys, and through his lack of parenting, I guess, and I'm not shitting on him. I mean, he's this is going to be 19 years he's gone. This actually next month. Next month it's 19 years.
Can I get your name?
Yeah, 19 years. He's gone. So I'm not shitting on him. I'm just in his lack of, I guess, parenting, he ended up with two very self-sufficient daughters who could basically do anything. So I'm like, come on, Frank, we could do this. So he's like, I want to build this thing for you. I know what I want. And I was like, Frank, I've been thinking about it for a year. Let's do it.
It's so weird
And
that
then
you're
we did
sitting
it.
right next to someone for a year,
Oh, yeah.
and then you're both thinking about the same thing. How many times has this happened in your life? You're thinking about the same exact thing, but no one says anything to each other. Then
No.
it comes up somehow later on, and you're like, oh, I was thinking about that. Oh, yeah, I was too. Why didn't you do nothing? Well, I don't know. And you get into these little ridiculous arguments. And I looked at her. I was so excited. I was like, oh, Home Depot. We talked about this on air and how crazy.
So anyway, it's built now. Frank got this really great tarp to protect the wood and to protect the houses from the rain. And it's like it's like camo green, so you can't get it dirty.
I
It's
fucking
great.
love that
I
color.
know, I love it too. So now I can put plants on it, planters, plants. I can actually
we have everything growing outside.
I could actually plant on it. Like I can use it to plant on it. And so we were out there yesterday again planting, and it was just the greatest.
No, it's beautiful.
We've been doing it every day.
Every time they were growing. Okay, you went.
Yeah.
I was outside smoking
Oh.
weed the night before, and I looked at the tomato plant, and I said, "Man, you're growing pretty fast, little tomato plant. I send you love and light. You better grow big because we're gonna make fucking ketchup, right?"
Yeah.
So, the next day I came out with you. You were trimming them.
Yeah.
And it was over the sign in front of the house. It was like at the height of. I said,
I know.
You grew like that since last night. And then you're like, it's like when I go in and out, I miss the growth spurt. But as the day went on and you were trimming, they got fucking bigger.
I told you, it felt like every time. So
shout outs to everyone that knows how to plant and does vegetable gardens and fruits. And
last week we did the show. Sunday was a hang day, a rest day, and then Monday. So every weekend into Monday, Frank always says, what's on the list this week? What do we have to get done? Or he'll tell me, like, this is what I also have to do. Like, we'll combine the lists and we'll lay everything out. So we usually do that like Sunday night, Monday. So this week wasn't a bad week. We didn't have much to do. We just had like errand running, and we had to go to the supermarket. Same thing as always. But it was a very pared down list this week. So Monday morning we get up and we're all set to start the day, and it was a nice day. And me and Frank had a cheat day, and we just hung out in the yard all day long and didn't get. I mean, like we straightened up here. We did like. Do you
feel like motivated to do things? Because we've been ultra motivated to do our personal stuff together.
Oh yeah.
And separate and together at the same time.
But now it's like, because the weather's nice, it's like, hurry up, we got to get everything done because we want to hang out outside. So we were planting and basically hanging out all week outside. And every time I walked out the door, I feel like these tomato plants are growing like an inch or two every time I come back outside.
Yeah.
And now Frank saw it because now we have the security camera and we have a sign like, do not feed the cat. Like,
do not touch, do not feed the cats.
Don't feed the cats. They're protected because of that lady that kept feeding them. So he got this sign. So now they're growing. So now we decided to grow green beans. And we've never done that before.
And we want to run them up and around, and we want things to look kind of
right. So we have the wall. So Frank and I this week
we ran a trellis net.
Right. We said, how are we going to get them to run? And Frank was like, oh, I have a net.
Yeah, I literally had a trellis net,
and it's too big. I can't use it for anything. So why don't we use it? And we got
nothing I planted is big enough to use.
Yeah, so we got a couple of bamboo stakes, and we have this net. And so now our sweet peas green beans are just starting.
No, I was bugging out. They were creating flower buds.
These little pretty flowers
from the morning. They were just barely there, so they were turning purple, but they were closed.
Yeah, in the evening.
And I was like, "Yo, this is great."
Andrew Sly, you would appreciate it. I'm so proud of myself.
My friend Rich Johnson came here with his wife.
Oh yeah,
Laura.
they came by yesterday.
It was pouring rain, and we're all. Rich grew up. Rich and I, tight. It's my one of my oldest friends, and he sees what we're doing here. He's like, he lives in Manhattan. He's like, man, this is amazing. my hat's off to you guys. Like, he was bugging out on it because they want to do, they can't do anything like it. They could just put some stuff in the window.
Yeah.
And they got a tiny apartment, and then it was pouring rain, and Laura ran outside and stopped. And then I was so proud. She looked over. I've never seen people give a shit so much.
I know you had a moment.
And then she stopped and looked, and she goes, "This is so beautiful."
Yeah, I know.
And then she started running again, and I was like,
yeah, she took time.
the energy that's popping off of this fucking
that
place.
was special because you said she took the time. It was pouring in the rain
Now
to stop and admire something.
We're talking about high energy, high output. Something just flew off of something.
Oh, the cat.
She knocked something over too.
Oh,
Such high energy, but yet I'm gonna work backwards a little bit and forward this week when we got. Don't say nothing to Paula.
Shut up!
But I got the list.
I don't care.
And it's long, so I just wanted to open up with some slow shit because this echoes into the most ridiculous event this week with UFOs and ET contacts and all kinds of crazy shit. I just have to warm up to this right now because I have it's been fucking nuts. Every time I close my eyes, I'm meeting something new, like they're right there and shit too. Okay, I got to answer a few questions first. I want to go back to the beginning. Hey studio, if you're still listening, my brother is he's the Count, Rob Banks at the Red Cup Review. So shout out to the Red Cup Review. Check him out on YouTube. They do toy reviews, statue reviews, all kinds of awesome reviews. He's like me, so you get a lot of what the fuck sometimes. He adds a beautiful flavor to the industry, which is a bunch of fucking numbnuts sometimes. So if you want, hit me up privately. And let's chat. Yes, I do love action figures, specifically Marvel Legends, G.I. Joes, and all that good stuff. And it's funny. All right, so check it out. So he was following me and Rob at the same time, and didn't know that it was.
Oh,
that
didn't know
the
you were
brothers.
related.
Oh. Yeah, that's fun.
Who's that?
Rob and I used to do Heist Click together. I'm going to tell you a little secret about my brother. When it came to rap music. Right. And we weren't rappers. We were just regular dudes talking shit just like this. We sound like wrestlers most of the time. He's fucking awesome.
Yes.
He was like, he used to say to me, because he was highly intelligent as a kid, super intelligent. He would like,
still is.
Yeah, but he told me that the route he took being sanitation and whatever, and being like the blue collar worker, fucked up what he was doing mentally at the time of Heist Click. It completely changed. He's like, they're not like us, Frank.
But
nobody's like us. And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but he has a master's in education. He went to be a teacher. He started teaching, and then he was like, I don't want to do this.
No, someone brought a piece in the room. That was one of the days he had. And then there was a whole incident with that. And he's like, I'm not making enough money for this shit.
Right. And then he went to sanitation.
They called him and he was like, I'm out. I'm getting the fuck out
of
here.
But he did start out as a teacher.
So he would see, he would hear the music, the beat, and then he would see mathematics across the page. So he would see 1s, 2s, 8s, 4s. So I'm like, well, what is that? He's like, so it's the consonants and how you punch the words in. So it's a mathematic formula, and now you just punch the words in. You just find the words that rhyme that make sense to what you're trying to say. And I'm like, so it doesn't come out from, we used to have these giant arguments because he was so much better than me, but we were completely different. We came at it from two different directions, like two different sides of the coin. He could mathematically see it and he could always just boom, 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 do it. And mine was always passionate. So passionate. I would never know what the fuck I'm talking about. And I would just start going and have to write quick or record myself or just, I don't know, so I'll go back and fix it. Yeah. It would take me a month to write a verse. And then on stage, it would be the most craziest killer like event. Pretty interesting. And then he would just go and destroy it every time. I watch him. When people get nervous and they talk shit, I've had people laugh at me before. I was on stage with him in New York City. For the Pride Parade. They hired us and they said, come on down here right now. We want you to come and play. So I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. You want us to come down to Lower Manhattan on the West Side and perform at the bottom of the West Side? And they're like, yeah. So we get all the way down there.
He always hates going into the city.
No, listen, it was so fucking packed. So we go down the West Side Highway. We fucking bum rush the place. They let us park right in the back. There's like a block that's short, and the stage is right there. And I'm going to tell you where this is.
I'm very familiar with that area.
It's the post office,
because there's
the big one that's
Yes.
on the West Side Highway. You go this block on,
You're
and that's where the show was.
Behind it, yeah.
So the show was up that whole street.
And over there's all those little hidden spots. I don't know if they're still there because it's years, like 20 years now. You could park for free. All those little hidden spots.
Yes. Okay. So, and it's always harder to park over there specifically, but when you, free parking. So we park, and then they start ushering us out real quick. They're like, can you have the music? Have the music? So we're not seeing anyone. I'm seeing people. I hear the music, and I'm like, what are we doing? How many people here? They're like, you're a professional, just go on stage. So they hand me a microphone, and I'm like, oh, a cordless mic. So I'm all happy. I'm like, oh, there's no cords. We're all there. Yeah. So as I go up the stage, there was like a big canvas, so I couldn't see the other side. There were cabaret dancers on stage.
Really?
So I get up onto the stage, and I could see them, and they were men dressed as and doing it or whatever. And then they were all really tall. Everyone looked like, wow, they had giant feathers, and they were running around going nuts. And then I looked this way, and as far as you can see back up from where we had just come down the highway was people shoulder to shoulder. I almost fainted. So they were coming like walking off the stage, and I come back out, and I go, and my brother's like, yeah, let's go. And he runs down, throws up, comes back up on stage, and we fucking pile out. There had to be, they were saying there was at least 25,000 people where we were. I'm sure. We crushed it. We were taking pictures from the stage, it started a rampage for Heist Click out of nowhere, which was pretty intense. So this is just a little shout out to my brother in the Red Cup review and all the craziness. So whenever you hear one of us go, oh, well, I don't know, be like, yeah, really? Really? We had, after that, we started having events like that all the time. Okay.
So around what year was that?
Oh God, I want to say 2005 to 2010.
Okay. So around that time, I was going down the West Side Highway and hanging out in the same places because I used to go to listen to my friends' bands play, but I always used to like to drive myself. So I had a white pine. No, then that was a little later, but I know you used to be in the same places a little earlier. But at that time also, same time, never ran into each other. Same thing. Rose would roll me a joint. I would drive half of it down, smoke half of it while I was driving down.
Right.
And I'd leave it in the car because I'd have the half to smoke when I was driving home because I always loved to hang out, but I never wanted to get stuck. Not being able to go home when I
always had my car too.
Yeah. And
I said, I'd have a designated driver and I would put him in the car with me. And it was always Richie Johnson for the most part because he didn't drink.
Right.
He's like, I'll drive.
Right.
I was like, I'll drive down, then you drive back.
Well, when I was driving myself, I never went crazy. But if I was with other people and I wasn't responsible for that, it was like, well,
how many of you out there? Because Paula and I, this is part of what we're discussing. Can't remember
just before
home.
This. It's not even about that. It's again being in the same places, like Arlene.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I performed there,
but I used to watch other bands there. Like when I remember the first time I went there, we couldn't find. It was like we couldn't find it because it looks like a bodega.
Yeah, there are like these little spots, and you're like, oh, this is the most famous spot I've ever been to. And you go, where I went to CBGB's and was like, what is this?
Okay. I
performed there too. That was great.
The first, and it was before cell phones.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't call anyone to say where is this place.
It was when because
and then
99.
It was like beepers still, and cell phones just came out. If you had like $200,
we were down the block, and they were at the old police, the fire thing was there. Remember when we went for the walk? This is how far back we're going. We have boxes on corners every couple of corners.
The fire alarms,
and there's like a red box, and you could open. Either a fire, right? If you got a fire, you could press the button, or police, right? And you just press those buttons. We go so far back, people would tag up on it and just press the button, and Fire department would show up. Back in the day, it would make the news. People were like, "Oh my God, don't do that! Don't
Oh,
ever."
I told you it was terrible. We used to go moonlight bowling on
And they would
Astor
pull it.
Avenue, the moonlight bowling, yeah. And we
There
used
was
to go
no
with
phones or nothing,
a
so you
whole
could get
group of
away with.
kids.
There's
Yes,
no cameras. You
yes,
do whatever the
it was
fuck you want to
awful. A
do.
whole group of kids, and we would walk everywhere.
Mm-hmm. We would have hideouts
And
where
I
we
think-
knew the 888 number to the phone.
You were bad though.
So we
You
have
were
that
bad.
payphone on lock. So we
See,
knew.
we never did that. Though we used to just walk to or from moonlight bowling, and the kids. It was actually
Don't hang
Paul.
on
I
something.
think it was it. I don't even know. Maybe it was Paul Filani and his friends. They used to pull those fire alarms and run. And
It was like a ring and run thing. You could literally play that back in the day and not get shot. You know
yeah,
that?
well, now you can't.
We used to
You
run
can't.
across.
You're not even. You can't. You'll please.
We used to do things
if you
like,
push that button. I don't even know if it would work.
in the Viola's house, the back garage, right? So you've seen all the garages. They kind of
Yeah.
Oh, we used to start at my yard, go in between, jump up onto the garage, and start running. Now the house next door used to have another garage. That guy took it down, so we would be able to make it like 4 or 5 houses without having to leap anything crazy. So we got
Now,
to.
what if you went through some?
No, look, we went. Listen, we were Mark's grandmother. She was a house and a half over. We were all running, and then boop, my foot went right in. Boom, and then Mark came over to help. Boom, his foot went through, and he was like, "We got to get the hell out of here, man. We don't want them to catch us." That's when they used to throw boots out the window at your head. They'd be like, "Who's making noise out there?" And they would just pick up the closest thing.
You would never be able to do that if it was now. 'Cause
We
of the
used to
ring.
play paintball by the police station,
Frankie,
in
I
the
don't even
softball
know
park
how you
off the
got away
highway,
with the shit
and the
that you got
cops
away
came
with.
back there and were like, "What are you doing?" And we all had guns, and then we were like, but we had the mask on and shit. They were like, "You realize the horse stables are right over there?" We're like, "No, well, the gun range is over there," because you hear the guns popping off. So
Yeah.
it was a perfect area to have like a battle. And then the cops were like, "All right, you just can't come up over here. You understand me?" And we were like,
No problem.
"No
Like,
problem." And then 20 on 20.
That's
People would stick their heads up, and because the beach is there, the water is there.
I know.
So we used to do things like you go down to where the rocks are, go to the other side of the rocks, then you have to take the beach from there.
Under the bridge by
No.
City Island.
What's that park where everyone plays softball? And right off the highway,
Pelham Bay.
Park.
Uh-huh.
You go to the back of it.
It hits the water back there. I didn't.
Yeah,
know
the
that.
water right across, and then across is Orchard Beach. So you're looking at it from the other side.
But I didn't. Yeah, but you can't walk there.
No, you got
'Cause
the
the highway
water
is-
is in between you.
I didn't realize the water was
So
over there.
it goes back like
Why
2
don't I know
softball
this?
fields, well, football fields,
I had a horrible incident.
and then
at
there's the
Pelham Bay
wall
Park.
there. So then people walk into the back, not where they play softball. It's like on the other side. There's like a wall back there. We used to just fucking pile.
I
back
didn't
there.
even know
We
there
went
was.
into I'm sorry.
I
I'm sorry.
did-
I'm talking about all
No,
this.
that's
We used to
so
go into
weird.
Untermeyer Park.
I didn't even know there was water back
My
there.
uncle's a chief, right? And he
Oh wow.
he would go, "Yo, gear up." So I'd look at my brother and go, "Yo, get the equipment." And he'd run, and we had bags filled with like weaponry for paintball. We'd pack them up.
Weirdos.
We'd all be dressed in camo or whatever.
Mhm.
He'd show up with Dan. We'd drive to Untermeyer. Now this Untermeyer Park, those who listen to Ra from
Where is
Ralph, the
that?
Eye of Ra, it's up in Westchester. He talked about on his show that they used to sacrifice all kinds of shit in that park. That was like a big thing.
Oh,
There's
it's terrible.
documentaries where, listen, there's like a castle thing back there, and some famous guy from Westchester that killed all these people that were in like they were in like a satanic like a cult little clique.
Mhm.
And they would go back there and murder things that they said it started with like little animals
Oh
and little
my
things,
God,
and then
that's
turned into people.
terrible.
So to be back there at any time by yourself is very scary because
Oh,
you hear
I'd
all
be
these
really,
stories.
Like waiting for someone to
There's
kill
no
you.
cell phone, so you go back there with your friends, and it's a fucking wrap. Wow,
Oh my
this is a
God.
completely interesting show tonight of the past.
That's
And then
so fun.
we'd march back there, put the fucking full gear on. Now this
Oh
is
my
a
God, I
federal
would
park,
be terrified.
so they're like back then there was no
So
one
they're
really
killing
hanging
on
out.
federal land.
Listen, so
Oh
we
my
go
God.
into the park, go all the way back, and my uncle's like, "Bro, that's the castle from the thing where they kill people." So we load up, we run into it, and straight up, there's like demonic paintings on, people just tagging shit up. There's the
Really?
pentagrams on the floor, on the
Oh
wall.
my God, that's
And
terrible.
we played from in there. The hill goes down, straight down, and it was
Okay.
all bushes and trees coming up. And we would take the castle.
Oh,
So then
never,
people would have to come
never,
up the hill,
never,
and then
never,
in the
never,
castle it had a
never.
second. Inside was open, it was just empty. So on the outside it kind of looks like a small little castle for people to hang out in. And then there was a second floor where you could come out the window. So dudes would sit there with their pistol and shoot people with paintballs. If you try to do this today,
But how big was it? Was it
it was like a
big
2-story
building or a
rock
small?
built castle looking thing. It
So
had
was
the arch,
was
it
it like
had
a
the two
two-
sides, but
Okay.
if you went into the arch,
Really?
it was just a box, and
Oh,
then
okay.
you can jump up on this level right here and then look out this window. So people would go up there, and that's how we would do it.
This is
So
fascinating.
and then there was
to
a window
me.
on the back, and then two on the floor. So we could surround the place and try to get in.
And
It
you
wasn't
play
like
paintball.
we played so much paintball there. Then my uncle became a chief and was like, "Do you know what I would have to do to us now for what we did back then? You would be in jail for 10 years." He goes, "We'd all be in jail for years and
For
years."
playing. Well,
Well, because there were dudes back there, so people would hang out and they would drink and be like, we're trying to hang out or whatever. And we'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here, you fucking hippie." Bop, 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 bop. Because all we knew is anyone back here other than us is a demon lover or something.
That's terrible.
So
That's terrible.
my
and
uncle is like
scary.
hard German. So he's like, we'll just smash their fucking head. Like, it was beyond what you can imagine. Right. So we'll just run up on you and just start shooting you with paintballs. And back then people would just shit themselves. What the fuck is going on?
Well,
And we
I
just clear
watched
the whole area
I
out. Get the
watched
fuck out of here.
an interview with David Lee Roth, and he was like, he used to go kayaking, I think, in the
Up and down around here somewhere.
off the West Side Highway.
Yeah.
There was a hole in the fence, and he used to squeeze a kayak through and go kayaking until the police were like, after 9/11, they're like, "You can't do this
Yeah,
anymore."
if you get caught doing this again, you go to
we're
jail.
yeah.
It's fucking.
And he said it ruined everything because he did for years.
You could do. All right, we used to be able to park our car off Shore Road, and then go shoot archery off the side of the road, 100 yards off the side of the road, and then there's the water. So we used to go this way. So all the hunters would go long
by Dudley's.
Yeah,
all the way
then
down by
then
the
the
bar?
guy that lived by us on Morris Park, they buried a body and got caught. And then after
Did
that,
they go to jail?
Yeah, he just got out recently.
No
and then
way.
The cops were like, "Yo, you can't be here, man. They be burying bodies over here." And we're like, "I'm with my grandfather." And he's like, "What? Oh, we don't need to hear this." He's like, "We need to leave." We never went back over there. You go over there and try that shit now. You go get out of your car and you're not working on your car and you're standing over there, you're gonna have a fucking problem. That's how intense it is. And the golf club is across the street. That's the craziest. I'm like, there's all these rich golfers over there, and we're in the back dressed in camo, shooting fucking targets. With I don't know, man.
So weird.
Back in the day, you could do stuff like that. I chased a crowd of kids that tried to jump me. That they actually did jump me. I went into my house and got an axe and literally went after the whole crowd. I broke the axe
too. Did your grandfather take it out of your hands or something like that?
No, that was when I went after my cousin Mike, because he was so big.
All right, let's move into.
How do you not?
Let's move
when
into
someone's that big.
Of course, I could not have lived the life that you lived.
He was like a giant gorilla attacking me for $40, and then I said, "You know what? I had enough of you." And my grandmother was like, "What are you doing?" She took it from me. She goes, "Give me that." I go, she had the bad arm like you.
I know.
Right? And she was able, with that arm, from
yeah.
this level, it had like super strength.
Because it was a life or death situation. She
just went, "Give me that." I was shocked. Oh, she took it. Like, that shit works.
Because she knew you were probably going to hurt yourself or somebody else with it.
Funny stories to start the evening.
All right. So anyway, let's move into the present.
No, we'll get to the show now. Sorry. I'm really having a good time with you guys. I'm happy to be here.
All right. I need a minute now since you've been talking.
Wait, I just want to show.
Okay.
Do you have something to say?
Yeah, I do.
I wanted to.
Okay. Do your shake weight.
We got these for when we work out. because we can't really work out
Well, when we walk.
for when we walk.
Oh well, Frank's been working out with him.
I got them to see if she could
I can
use these
They're great.
because of her shoulder, and they're like 1.5 pounds, and holy shit, we've been working out with these, just walking and been losing weight hand over fist.
Well,
So they're
it
called.
just started, so I don't.
Well, it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks almost.
No, 2 weeks. I know.
Right? You can see the vein in my. Where is it on this side? Look, you only see that
I
shit
forget it's backwards.
when it starts to. Yeah, because I was getting really heavy. So egg weights, check them out. They're awesome. Go ahead, you're in charge.
Oh, Patty, if you're listening or watching, I love you. And the reason I am not using a Hello Kitty lighter is because Frank is not allowed to touch it. So.
Oh, I'm not allowed to. Paula has these awesome Hello Kitty lighters.
Yes,
that
Patty
sent
me, and I.
She goes,
I
"Don't you
take
dare
one,
touch these."
I have one that I'm using, and
You have
was
your
like,
own
"You're not allowed to touch it."
with your stickers on them.
And I don't let him. I never say he can't touch anything, and it's like just that. So, and here we are. But yeah, so it's been wonderful planting, and we created this trellis with bamboo sticks. So now now our green beans are starting to climb. They're just barely touching the trellis, but one of them is starting to climb, and it's great. So we're gonna see how it
I
goes.
can't wait, man.
I know, I'm excited.
I'm so excited because I'm not used to. Well, I am used to this, but you are.
Success.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Like,
No, we had.
okay,
we
first
had
of all,
barren
last
tomato
year,
plants
my mother
last
did
year.
she was like,
Oh my God, she was like,
in all the shit that we
tomato,
talked,
the tomato whisperer.
to be the greatest tomato plant grower I've ever
Meanwhile,
come across.
I had a barren tomato plant that did not want to bear fruit, and I was
we were embarrassed last year. We were like, "Whoa, what's happening here?" Don't pull on the cord like that.
I'm sorry, I keep doing it. I was very embarrassed. My
But now this year you have it.
Oh yeah, it's on.
So the magic is here. Okay, so to really make things interesting, we had. You look too comfortable. I don't want to do it to you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Pull me back more.
Pull
me back.
This way.
No, your way.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so shout outs to Robert Hawley, Higher Frequency. You're awesome, bro.
We love you.
And shout outs to Shaman Tiffany. You're amazing. Paula and I have been doing this work outside.
Oh yeah.
And I am outside literally with my shirt off and my fat Buddha belly out. And I'm always doing like these weird greetings. I greet you, sky and elementals, and greetings to anyone who's there, And we noticed that the clouds were moving weird.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a perfectly blue sky.
It was like Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, and I'm jumping ahead because I think this was after the eclipse. I don't, because of the way I wrote it. I'm not sure. I remember it being like not. It was beautiful out.
It was such a good week. Like I got so much stuff done. I was so proud of myself.
I noticed that the clouds were like. They weren't like those long, drawn out clouds or the chemtrail clouds. No. They were like clouds plastered.
Bob Ross clouds.
Like everywhere. And it was windy.
Yeah.
It was fucking windy. And it was like
very windy.
It was the wind that's annoying.
The clouds were moving very quickly.
Everything was moving. I was kind of like, oh, wind elemental. What the fuck are you doing?
There was a cluster of clouds.
And when I say they were right over our heads.
With sky. And it was all moving as one giant piece.
Well, we're
talking about a cluster of like 5 or 6 clouds with sky in between. The entire cluster.
I said, hey, little cloud, look how that's moving. Just like that.
Yeah, and then he hit me in my arm 3 times.
I was like, look at this, look at this, look at this. Right? So the wind was blowing and you can see everything moving. And then this section right up right there was just moving
at a different pace.
They didn't know, none of the clouds in it moved.
No, it was
moving. So inside this space, it was like the tip of a triangle, how do I explain this? It's kind of like this coming over the roof, right? So then everything that you're seeing on that part, which looks like the background,
Sorry.
it was just all sticking together and moving.
I think you're speaking truth because I just had to yawn really loud.
And I was like, holy shit. I go, hey, little clouds, none of yous are gonna move like independently of each other. Like it was so fucking weird. And then it kept coming.
And both of the phones were in the house.
Yeah, we had no, we were just outside. I had my belly out. I was kind of like, yeah, what's going on here? It just kept coming out.
It took almost a minute to pass.
This fucking, you can see.
But we chose to watch it.
It looked like a triangle, but it was gigantic because it kept coming. Because we have a building, right, or a house, but it's like a 3-family, so it's a little extra high. And we're in the yard, and then we got the 3-family that we're in. So we're just in this like thin yard looking up, and it's coming over. So when we first noticed the tip coming through, I was like, oh, look, it's just this section's not moving.
No.
Maybe the ship is a UFO and it's passing by. And then it just kept coming. And the whole section wasn't moving. It looked like it was just holding it was just camoed. It wasn't, those clouds weren't moving on it.
Oh, it's definitely
they
camouflage.
were all moving at once.
I
was like, what the fuck? I go, Paul, that's gigantic. That's not even funny. It's like football field big. I thought it was going to be small, like a couple of cars, you know, or a truck.
No, hundreds.
This was fucking gigantic.
Yeah. Well, people have to live. They have to live somewhere, right? They can't all live in these small, tiny. Like they have to live somewhere.
You know, a lot of times since leading up to,
I don't know why there's so much doubt.
Last part of from the last show, independent thought from my own. You could hear it loud and clear. And I wrote it right here. We are here, where they're just like cheering it. And you're like, what is that? You know, you, the magician, Josh, had a moment. Shout outs to my number one.
I don't know why everyone's fighting it.
Channeled for the first time.
And I don't know why you're so
gave
flustered.
In. And it just instantly occurred. Then I was there and talking to him about it, and he was excited because he felt open. And then all these other things independently started happening, and I'm going, this is going down. We get the the video that we had of the UFO a couple of weeks back. Then this happened with you and I, and it took its time. Things like me looking up at the sky and going, hey, greetings, spaceships and starships and spheres and blue beings and yellow beings and green beings, you know, just all beings, you know. And no, I'm serious. And then where's my response? And then I'll take a deep breath and connect myself, ground myself.
They let you see a big ship, honey. That was one of your responses.
But I do that all the time. So I'll be like, where you at? Because in the beginning, Paula, the moments here were like me in a situation of infinite love, and then Space Jesus shows up.
I understand.
Right? And then I'm like, hey, Space Jesus, I got a question for you. And he's like, go ahead, you can ask me anything. I go, I see everybody else that's with you too. He wasn't by himself. There's all these other guys standing around, and some looked like him, kind of. They were dressed like him. And then others were in like space outfits. They looked good too. And I'm like, are you with them? And he was like, yeah. I go, are you in that ship up there? I know there's a ship, right? I fucking feel it. There's no way all you guys are walking around down here. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So these weird moments. Now, the breakthrough, I already did the breakthrough. Now it's, how's your awareness doing? Is your awareness growing? So I feel that connection. So if anyone wants to come up and talk, I open the channel and say those of the highest frequency that are, with us. Right. Come on in. Where's my angels? Where's my people? You know, and then now they're just loud and clear right there. Boom, boom.
But we just talked about it last week, and we said that we feel that our perception has risen. How we perceive things to be has grown. Okay, so if your perception has grown and heightened, everything has grown and heightened. So there's going to be a point of connection. It hasn't grown and heightened so that you can just
Well, we have to science ourselves.
Keep
Well,
keep thinking, like
a
how
lot of
much
people.
proof do you need?
Well, a lot of people keep saying, "Oh, it's the same boring thing," and I wake up every day and it's the same thing. I wake up in the weirdo loop too, but it's never the same.
It's never the same.
No
Every
matter
day
how
is
much it
never the
drones
same.
on in one way or another, I break that loop breaks pretty quickly eventually with how I have to live. But at the same time, I'm still sciencing. I don't stop meditating. I don't stop my breathing. I don't stop because I stopped teaching this stuff because I don't have to teach you anymore. It's all on video. We can go back and we could watch it over and over and over and over and over 100 times. I'm here to tell the story, right? So I give you all the techniques. And now when people say to me, well, I don't, I'm like, are you meditating? Check. Are you, eating properly? Check. Are you sleeping? Like, are you asking the questions? Or are you still scared? What are you doing? Because how far do you want this to go? Because what else has happened? Listen, we'll stick with the UFO thing. This week,
Okay.
Obama on TV, straight up saying, "No, this stuff's real. We have it on film, and we don't know. We don't know." Then they just start dropping Navy with video of this thing flying around and then dipping into the water and them going, "This is just a couple years ago." Like it's happening in front of everyone.
But if the government admits there's UFOs, who's going to contest it? No one. There's no one to contest it.
Right,
so there's
now-
no argument. They took the argument away. Yes, there are UFOs. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand why so many people need so much proof. It's like, it's a string. Why do you need that proof? Like you had me at hello. The night that Oscar helped save your life in my basement, that was enough proof for me to realize that there's something bigger than us happening now.
So
I mean, not that I needed proof, but I actually had the physical proof because the cat was there.
no, for sure. I told Paula this. I'm like, I work with her cat Oscar on the other side.
No, but this is what I'm saying. So if I am willing to admit that truly happened and the series of events went down the way I remember them going down, then I have to believe it's like the day we first met. It's all true. I believe if you believe one thing, it's all true. It's all true or nothing's true because it's not one or the other. It's everything. So
yeah, we've been saying this. It's all of
it's
it.
here. The ships are here. We saw it in the clouds. Like I said, you could choose to believe me or not. It doesn't matter.
No, but
it doesn't matter
there's
whether
been an upswing on Facebook.
of
people
course there, because
with
there's no one to
pure
deny
video
it.
of the orbs like flying through the sky, changing directions,
Yeah.
looking like airplanes, and then switching, and then
But
you're
who's
getting
going-
military reports
But
on it.
who's going to deny it now?
No, this is what I'm saying. For the sake of the we
Yeah.
know
Yeah. No,
how
no,
much
but
proof do you need? Like that's the discussion a little bit. It's like we've been saying and we've talked about this. I didn't know at first how much the all meant. When I say all, I literally mean all of it. So you can't have the Smurfs.
no,
And
you
then
can't.
not
It
have
means if they
UFOs.
knock on the door right now and say your cabin is ready, pack your bags, we'd be like, okay, just as long as you're taking all the cats.
Yeah, the cat's got to come.
Cats have to come. Cats have to come. And we'll
Dip
contact
out.
everyone when we get there. Give me
Gotta
10
do-
minutes.
So when I say I go outside, and I know it sounds like a stoner maybe ranting. Oh, he smokes
No,
pot
it's
on
not.
air and
No,
he does all this crazy shit. Listen. We've been nothing but truthful. I've never lied and had no reason to ever even tell the story, except the truth must be told. Through the parable of the living example, it will come out. So if you are experiencing this stuff on any level, shape, or form and think you're having some kind of contact, you probably are. This is what I'm getting at. Now, where is your fear level? Because here it comes. Here it comes. You wanted the boom. You got it.
You got it.
Now, it's official. Now we have to move on. What's the next thing? Who are they? Where are they? We've been talking about it the whole time. Most likely inner Earth. They're going to be human, looking a little humanoid. Definitely. I don't think they'll prance around. a mantis being or a lion being. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
You know me.
I
That
think
is-
slow drips that have to come faster now. They have to. You're ready. You've had the injection over time. It's been lifetimes for a lot of, most of us, since the last major interactions where
Speak
you
your
were
truth,
there
Frank. I believe you. Yeah.
speaking with them. All right. So I told Paula this. When I had my experience with her under ayahuasca, where we were in Egypt and they were showing me the experience of walking into my home, I guess, right? And I could only watch. We had this amazing conversation on the details of that whole thing, how the cats were there and it was the same fucking cats. And I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? They're all there, everything. But the other thought, independent from the whole thing happening, was once these guys leave, the gods, lowercase g's, when they leave, we're dead. There was something occurring out there that was ending our human race, open, contacted, living with the whole time. Who the fuck knows up to that point how long they were there? They were there the whole time openly. And then we're like, we're out. Right? And then when they bounced, humans that were dominant decided to, swing armies and do all kinds of shit, claim bloodlines and wanted to be whoever. Since then to now has been just what you heard through the grapevine. Internet's kind of recent, so there's that. Pictures and photographs, but you never know what you could believe anymore or whatever, But now here it comes. It's going to come back online because when I asked Toth, y'all left us. Y'all created bodies, conceded with each other, made these fucking plans, built these things. You wanted source in the container, and then you left us. What the fuck is wrong with you? And they were like, we didn't leave. We had to maintain background from you guys. Had to. It was a rule. The fucking rule came in from the up top. Back out now. I said, oh, great. So we stampeded, murdered, do this. And he goes, yeah, the dark moved in. You guys didn't help when you were opening stuff up. Like, we're all responsible for everything. So like when Atlantis fell, there were portals opening where things were just coming out. It's like, well, how do you stop it? It's like, well, we didn't fucking think of that.
Right.
I looked at the rune stones on Atlantis when I went back through ayahuasca, and I was trying to read them, and like doorways would have, this is how intense it was. If you just had a doorway of rock, and then like say you were underground, you could like pass the doorway, turn around, and then on the edge of the doorway were symbols. And if you knew how to activate the symbols, you can create a shield to close the door. And you could literally bring entities in one room, and the scientists would be in the room with where the entity's coming out, and then just come out of the room, close the door. And
It's
the
like an
entity would be
elevator.
trapped in that room.
Yeah.
And then they would study it. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And they were like, wait, Aya was like, dude, that's you over there. And I looked and I said, I felt this fear I've never felt. I was walking down the hallway thing, and then I came through the door, and I was like, oof, it's pretty dark and scary down here. And I turned, and down the long hallway I just came out of, it was pitch black. You could see it coming. And then the guy that I was, I had the headpiece on and just the bottom part of the tunic. And then he went around the door, and the thing came up, and it hit it, and it was staring at me. And then when I went to this lady called us for an ayahuasca session, and I had to meet her, and she was a witch. She was telling me all this crazy shit.
Oh, I said, don't drink, don't take anything from
and
her.
she told me I have bones
Yeah,
buried downstairs under my staircase that I got from, I don't know, I think it was Haiti. She told me, and they did this whole ritual, and she took them back. And then I did ayahuasca the next day, and I was like, I have to clear you. You can't come up here. We got to clear you out. So she was showing me that experience of me running through the tunnel. And I go, what is this? And then she's like, do you remember yesterday, the lady that touched your leg? And now she was pulling black goo out of me. The entity was staring at me. It was the most frightening thing. I had fear in me. It was looking. I'm looking back, and then I saw the lady, and then it was her. And the entity was eating everything. 2 neighbors on either side shot people in the houses. And she would sit back there and just drink wine.
She's eating that. She's eating that negative energy.
So that entity was connected to the bones, and then it
was
they
connected to your
re-showed it to me, and the entity's like, "Look who it is, this motherfucker." And I'm like, "Wait, you're the same guy. This is the same place?" And then Aya was like, "Y'all don't go nowhere. You think you're going every." But way back then, right here in the same spot, this occurred, and it was you and your boys. And I'm like, what? And they're like, and the entity saw you again. The entity didn't age or anything. It's still standing there. You're the one that dies and comes back. And that entity is attached to those bones.
Lives this dense life. Yeah.
And I'm like, holy fucking shit. And they're like, the only way to get rid of it, so they made me stay away completely, would be to dig up the bones and then do some. And they were like, you're not going to get involved in that. So fuck off.
Right.
They're like,
that's not for you. Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know any of that. They're like, yeah, well, things are just living attached to the land. And then you're coming back. And when it approaches you, it remembers who you are. It sees who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have a clue though. And you're like, oh my God, it's this thing, you know. It's crazy the way this works out.
I get it.
So things we have to find out along the way that are so important. One of the things that happened was during the night of the highest energy, where it was kind of whack, where I was up, I couldn't sleep.
When? This week?
It was the night before the eclipse.
The 25th, Tuesday, the 25th, right? The eclipse was Wednesday. You have it on the calendar, 26th. Yeah, so Tuesday.
Yeah, so Tuesday night, I remember saying to you, yo, it was Tuesday day, I think. I was meditating outside. I don't remember. No, that's not what happened. We were smoking, and I blasted off again. Remember DMT World?
Yeah.
Okay, so everything's been taking me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm all over the place. Everything's been
so
taking
much done
me
Tuesday
into the realm.
We were home Tuesday.
So we were smoking a blunt, and I remember hitting it and going, like, slumping forward because it was so strong. And I closed my eyes and picked my head up, and you were sitting on the couch. I don't know if you were working on the computer or whatever, but I was just sitting there meditating. And as I was breathing, I was seeing a being.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going, what is that? What is that? And then he looked at me and was like, so you can see me. And I was like, wow, that's pretty friendly. And he goes, come on over. And I went right to him, and he was a dinosaur. He was a man.
Oh, this is the Reggie theory. Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So he had a long neck, the Brontosaurus head, a fin, and the fin was red. It kind of went down his back. He had a small tail. It wasn't like long across the floor. It was like my size. I don't know. It was just wiggling in the back. And he had a starsuit on.
And short arms, right?
Relatively speaking, it looked like an elephant with the dinosaur head with the long neck. But if he had hands, but they looked like Frankenthumbs, right? So they were like thummy. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I said, are you a dinosaur, man? And he was like, take a look at this. And he just turned me around, and I saw, it looked like, and I was telling you this, it looked like rock, a spaceship made in the shape of a submarine.
Oh, yeah, that's when I made the joke about the Galaxy Quest uniforms.
Yes.
And you're like, they're not onesies. Yes. I remember this.
Okay.
Yes. I remember.
Because I was like, I'm not wearing a fucking onesie. And they're not wearing onesies. It's two pieces.
You're right. It's two pieces.
I want just the jacket part.
Okay.
Right. And so he's wearing a full outfit. And I'm like, hey, man, you got clothes on and shit. And he's like, yeah, look at my ship. So I look at it, and the bottom was rock. And then it had these thin lines of rock that came up like that. They didn't even connect at the top. And then it was a force field or something. And that was it. and there were fucking dinosaur men on it. And I'm like, it reminded me of 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the way they used to draw his submarine, except open the top and then just make it a force field held together by these like pieces that come up. I don't know how to explain that. They look like little ribs, but they were so far in between that you could just see everything going on in there. And they were gigantic.
You said they're living.
I'm like, they're
open.
living.
Everything is open.
It's like a platform that's just moving through space,
like Asgard.
I'm like, whoa, that's fucking crazy. And he goes, right, check this out. He showed me his control panel. He showed me how they activate stuff. And then he was saying, I'm like, are you here? And he goes, oh, everyone's here. Everyone is here. There is no not here.
Right.
It's literally, we all came. It's the biggest game in the universe.
So cold.
It is. It's fucking 50 something
Freezing
degrees
in
out.
there.
And it was 90 degrees 2 days ago.
God, it's ridiculous.
So I saw them. He goes, just look where we are. And they were between, I saw the sun. And I was like, okay, there's the sun. And I saw Jupiter. And then I was going, oh, we're kind of out a little bit. And he's like, yeah, no, we're right here. And I could see Earth come up. And I'm like, so you guys are just float. And then I saw everyone else. They're just scattered everywhere. And your take on this has always been, it's not a couple of ships in the clouds, Frank. There's 100,000 or more, way more. And then the number just keeps climbing because they're always right here. And I'm like, man, that tech, we saw the tech. Listen, you're not going to catch it if you're not paying attention. And if they're not trying to, I want to say they're doing it on fucking purpose.
We were planting. We weren't paying attention.
They flew low enough for us to be like, hey,
it was
man.
like in your face.
Look, I'm getting chills. It's almost like they're here already. Like,
when
hey,
I'm planting, and a bomb could go off.
Well,
I don't
you're at your highest
it.
frequency.
Yeah, but that's it. I'm at my highest.
I was hugging Buddy.
Yeah.
Space Jesus shows up. I was singing a song. I was so in love with this little cat.
But that's what I'm saying. When you're at
and then
your
he just
highest
shows
frequency, look what you.
Your heart opens. Your awareness
it.
expands.
We were looking down the whole time.
No, I know. See, that's the other thing too. It's like,
oh,
what got your attention to just?
We saw the bird. Remember, we saw the robin.
Yes.
And then we saw the other bird. And then.
Well, it's Animal Planet in our yard.
I know, it's great.
It's almost like, look up.
Look up.
Look up.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the bird. Oh,
yeah.
What's that? That's
and
how they get your attention.
Long enough to see it because it was moving at a different. The wind was blowing so hard.
And this section, it looked like a slice. This is what it looked like a slice of pizza flying through the sky.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the shape of the pizza. It was jagged. It wasn't that. It was like bulbous on the end. Like it wasn't.
Yeah, it had shape and form. I'm just trying to give them.
It was in the shape of a triangle. And
I was like, holy.
It was one of those things where we chose to live in the moment instead of run and get the phone to record.
Yeah, no, I don't give a shit no more. Like that's why when me and Josh were filming the UFO stuff, we didn't.
It's like, all right.
We didn't overtly care because I'm busy making contact.
No, it was awesome. It was awesome. And then what did we kept planting?
Well, because I bitched.
That's right.
The night before. Where's my dudes? And then it's like, now are you aware enough? We're trying to get your attention.
So now your perception has grown.
Perception is growing.
So now every entity that has been waiting for our perception to grow is now here and like, hey, we want to talk to you too.
Yeah, they don't want to talk to the government. They're like,
no, we want to hear from you. Like,
it's the people that matter. Yeah. And by the way, you guys are the creators, and part of you, sections of us are part of experiments. We're all part of the grand experiment.
When I went to Italy, the best part of Italy was going to the mom and pop restaurants or the tiny little stores.
When I went to Amsterdam,
not the tourist places. So I get it. These entities have been waiting to make contact, and now that your perception is heightened, everything is heightened. Your awareness is heightened. Your understanding is heightened. How much more understanding have you been lately? Just you, Frankie, the person.
The test all week has been,
and it's funny because I never call him Frankie, but you been Frankie, the person.
It's not.
I gotta slide this way.
How you it's how you react to the same situation. It's your
Yeah.
reaction. So you're gonna come
Leg cramp.
out of the bathroom freshly showered and have to go to the bathroom, right?
Oh, I
Then
hate
you're gonna
that.
wait, then you're gonna get up, clean yourself, do go back in the shower if you want to, if that's what you
No,
want to
I
do.
hate that.
Wait,
I
then
know.
come back out,
I
walk
know.
right into
I
cat
know.
throw up.
I know.
Then
I know.
notice that one of them sprayed, right?
know.
Wait, I'm not done. Then
know.
there's dishes, but then there's a cat up on here. Then
I
he's
know.
got to eat. Then, oh, wait, there's 12 cats. Now, wait, I got to run outside. My phone's ringing. My mother's here. She's got the dog. Dun, 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 dun. And it all just seems to start piling up. It's a bad letter. It's a shitty email. It's a, but how are you handling it? So
How are you handling it?
back in the day, I would have picked up this microphone
right.
and did a helicopter twirl through
And
the
it's
living room.
the same because it's
Fuck this place.
because sorry, I got static now. It's the same.
But I haven't done
thing.
that.
Well, no, this is.
But
the
it's
point.
the same events.
It's the same events. Like we have dishes in the sink because we feed these cats 4, 5, 7 times a day, whatever. We have a 1-bedroom apartment. We have to constantly clean it because of the cat hair. We have, I mean, and these are, these are minimal issues, but it's just this mundane everyday thing that we have to do.
Yeah, how are you just going to
And
handle it? How are you handling the phone
handle
call?
it? How do you
when
handle
you're on the
it?
phone, with an important phone call, with the important phone call coming in?
And it's like,
does your stress level jump?
Frank and I have been handling this mundane stuff for
It's like your
years,
blood
and it's like
pressure.
now we're handling it. Now it's like a finely tuned instrument, like we're trying
it's
to
just,
stay
oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, like trying to stay ahead of things, rearranging our plan. Like we wanted to go to the supermarket early this week.
Yeah,
we didn't get to
taking your
go.
list and going, this might not work, but if you do it in
the timing is bad. Like everything we wanted to do ended
different
up
order.
happening in a different order because it was the best.
But it worked out.
But it was the best case scenario for us because everything was nice and clean. Then we hit the supermarket and then we had a place for everything.
Right,
So
right.
the way it worked was, but
we didn't even realize it at the time, but as we were completing projects,
we realized it.
From
we
the
were
list,
like, no, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this day. We're gonna do this.
It honestly made life easier.
It did.
Although you put a lot of output, but then during those moments, we, okay, there's contact this way.
But then we had a break, and we had that weed session was amazing.
And they're going, your frequency's changing.
Right.
So as you don't freak out,
right,
then it starts to become, hey, Teddy Bofetti. Then it becomes all chill, right? So I'm telling you, all of this weird stuff when I talk about cleaning up, purging, how you react to situations with your mother or something like that, this all leads to contact with fucking extraterrestrial space brothers, earth brothers, inner earth. I don't know how better this I'm fucking telling you, it all leads to that, because when the weird one comes out, right, the one that you're just not ready for, that is a good guy or some shit and wants to be like, I can teach this, and he comes out and there's a fucking squid arm on his fucking head and devil horns coming out of his ass, and you're like, what the fuck? You'll have a heart attack in the fucking street and die. And a lot of people would right now if the mantis just got up and looked at you and said, what'd you say to me? Or the lion being came down the street and had a fucking robe on and looked up at you and was glowing, you'd fucking shit yourself. Okay, but those of us that have been working the whole time, there's a lot of us. So I'm not putting us over here, but they talk about the wheat from the chaff. The wheat from the chaff means in your details, in your own personal life experiences, you're not waiting for the fucking contact. You're excited for it and you know that it's there and all that. You're busy in your life without being so busy that it's ruining anything or hurting, running your human body down, hurting your partner, not taking care of your animals. No, you're in the pocket, living in the moment with your people, and living then the magic starts to just fucking happen. Because if we tell you we're going to be there or something like that, people are going to fucking have a heart attack. They're going to just look and fall over.
Just why I don't speak to anybody.
You and I watched The Arrival. Okay. There was a scene I forgot about in the beginning. She shows up and they have the medical team there, and the dude's like, they're showing how they react.
Right.
Because and then
surreal.
They were just having heart attacks and dying. So there was these important people that were like, yeah, and they didn't see the actual creature yet.
They're not ready.
It was the spaceship just floating there, and then they were inside trying to learn some shit, and they saw the circles or something. I don't even know what the fuck they saw. It was minimal, and they were like, what the fuck's going on here? And they're like, well, they're not you.
Right.
Because the girl had no problem with it. Like, oh, this is pretty interesting. She was very science about it.
Because it's perspective.
Whereas the other guy that thought would have been relevant in that situation was just having a heart attack and dying right there on the spot. You know, and I've discussed this over and over again about raising your frequency and vibration. When I first met Ra, I could not be in his presence. He couldn't come out. I thought I was going to die just being there. Imagine a spiritual being going for a stroll down the block and looking over at you, being like, and you hear hello, and they're just walking, but there's something about them majestic and humble, but majestic, glowy, very aware and can perceive the thoughts of those around them. And they're just moving around, and you're like, whoa, wait, this is different. Like how far, when we talk about this all the time, where does your fear level lie? Some people are afraid of angels just as much as they're afraid of demons, because it's scary to see anything. So if you show them a Smurf, if I go, this is my little friend Frank, they'll go, try to kill it or something, or lose their shit and go run and hide. You know, if the cat talks, you got to watch who you show it to. Not only will it be on display, you know what I mean.
You don't even ask me anymore.
About?
What are you afraid of?
Well, you're not really afraid of much.
I'm waiting. Just waiting.
This is, and I've said this about you, your spiritual self, the assassin, right?
Oh yeah.
Deals with this shit on a hyper deep level. That's why you're so whatever about it, because at night that's what you're doing.
I know.
So when you're hunting demons, you expect no less from the demon hunter.
I think I'm assisting. I don't think I'm hunting.
Whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a lot. Espionage has a lot of attachments to it. Other people are doing space fleet shit, right? So when you're like, of course, but of whatever, but because you're dealing with it on that level, that's why you're so nonchalant about it.
Do you think Black Widow's outfit is a onesie, or you think it's a two-piece? That's a onesie, right? I'm just, how do you go to the bathroom in that?
You don't.
That's what I'm saying.
It has a filtering system.
I couldn't be like an assassin. Like, I have to pee like 9 times a day. So there's no way. Probably more than that. Maybe because I'm spoiled. I don't know.
She's nonchalant.
I don't want to talk about the assassin stuff, because that's not me.
See,
I like to plant. I do. I'm good at it now.
Homie,
well, I don't know. I don't know if it's
still going.
I don't know if I'm good at it. It might just be the luck of the draw. Anyway.
So she'll avoid the topic to avoid the topic. You want to know why? Because gangsters that really are gangsters avoid the gangster talking. But I'm just saying, because people have, you know, they wonder about you. She's out there hunting.
Brownie M&Ms.
Yeah, that's why she lives like this. It's her turn to like be like, oh, I just want to live a fucking life. I get it, right? So even the way it worked out with the two of us, where it doesn't affect you. So as I break through in my experiences, which is like first time in the human form, and I'm like all erratic and static and whoa, and this happened and that happened, and they came through the door and attacked me with a fucking frequency weapon.
We're good. We'll
and
fix
she's
it.
just like, nah, we got this. Don't worry about it. It's like she knows what to do. So with all that going on, it just makes for the perfect storm situation. But being nonchalant about that and not waiting on it hand and foot like most people are. They want the return of Jesus. They want the ships now. Where have you been? What the fuck? No. Hold on. They've always been there. They've never not been there, especially in this lifetime. They've been there the whole time. But now let's just say the light is up, no matter what the television tells you. We are actually raising the vibration and the frequency on this planet.
Everyone is.
So much
they don't even know it's people
that they're like, yo, you guys are ahead and you don't realize it.
It's the norms. Like we had to go to a family party last weekend. Not this weekend. We had to go last weekend. And Frank and I had sent so much love ahead to the place, to the party, to the family, everyone. And we really did genuinely have a great time. It's nice to see everybody. It was wonderful. It went by quickly. Um, and it was good, but they're the norms. But even the norms are feeling it. Like we had conversation that we didn't expect to have. We were like, Frank and I sat down and we were like, certain things are off limits. We're not talking about certain things because we don't want to create um we don't we don't want there to be a problem. We don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable, so we'll just, politely nod our heads. And there were conversations that people were waiting to have with us, and we took it a little slow and we were cautious, but we really did have a good time. But even the norms are feeling the energy shift, the frequency and vibration change. Everyone is feeling it because the Schumann resonance is so high. So
Remember, we're not ever going back down.
No,
We go high and then dip back like half. It's like we go run up 10 steps and then drop 3 and then go up another 8 and then drop 4 and then go up another 10,
Right. But you can't go. It's like Bitcoin. It'll go down. It'll drop, but it's
never gonna go to zero.
It's not out. It's not going to zero.
And it's being implemented everywhere.
Right. Anyway, that's enough of that. But oh, thank you, Deli. You love the new intro. Why don't you scroll through the comments, because you're
You tell them
what
you're saying,
about
and
what?
I'll do the comments.
What was I saying?
The party. And I want to tell you something. In a room full
party?
of people, you're just talking about the party we were at.
Oh yeah, we were having a great time. That's it. That we're done.
No,
we
in
had
a
great
room full
time.
of people, we sent that love ahead.
Oh yeah, we
had a
send the
great
love
time.
ahead. Yeah, we did.
We were not going to speak about Bitcoin.
Anything.
We weren't going to speak about
houses,
Space Jesus,
moving, and nothing.
So keep it simple, keep it plain, have a good time.
Keep
and
it
what
light.
happens?
They came out.
It's like a fucking we're like magnets.
A moth to a flame.
Just sitting there, and then the conversations, it kind of slips out right next to me, and we go, because I don't want to say names or nothing, and then we just look over, and he's like, "Is it okay?
Can I talk about
this?" And we're like, "Oh fuck yeah!" And then boom, it just goes off, and I'm like, "Wow, we don't even
just work, it just." Whatever. And then
the universe will put you around who you need to be around.
Yeah, but that's been happening a lot. Everything has been lining up pretty much. And even the bad stuff, like the bad stuff is kind of falling into line too. Like, okay, we got to deal with this. It's bad. Oh, Lisa, we love you. Hello. Bad things are going to happen, but we're trying to make the best of it. You try to make the best of it. I'm worried we have to put Oscar under anesthesia a third time. Anything can happen. I am willing to accept that. It's easy to say that now. Hi, Joe. It's easy to say that now, but this is how I feel now. I am willing to accept it. So bad things are happening, all the time. Yeah, for our fearless family too. I mean, houses for our fearless family, our hearts do go out to you. People who have lost people who have lost their homes. I mean, please send love to these situations, to these people.
I said
in the group. Please.
I've never known so many people's houses that lost homes through fires as I do in this lifetime.
Yeah,
like it's really awkward. I lost my home.
Yeah.
You lost a home?
I did.
Okay. And then others around us, literally, I'm like, man, that's a lot of people. When you start
passing too, there's a lot of people passing.
So just be mindful and compassionate towards people. Everyone's having a
send love.
rough
If
time.
You can't give or do anything, you can send love. And that's a beautiful thing too. But yeah, it's just been a lot of being more aware of things, why this thing is happening to you, and what are you getting out of it? Like, are you learning something? Oh my god, yes, they were Bob Ross clouds, though. That's the kind of clouds they were. But that's it. What am I getting out of this? Or what is this other person's motivation? What do I feel the motivation is? Whether I'm right or wrong. How is this making me feel? You know, how you think it should make me feel and how I feel about it are two different things. Could be two different things. Um, join Telegram. Is Telegram another like another application? Like a
I guess.
we can join. I guess we can join. We can figure it out.
Lexi, I love you.
We
and
love you,
Sam.
Lexi. Sammy, I am sending you that stuff. I just didn't send it yet. I have to go to the post office.
Free energy, it's the drip drip, right? So it's we're getting inoculated through evolution
Oh yeah.
and practice
Yeah.
in the spiritual and in the dream realm or whatever, like, and then coming back into our bodies and then going through these like what we feel are classes, breaking loops and cycles and doing all this shit
Mhm.
and UFOs, and then you'll get a dude that looks just like you. He'll just look really good, and you'll go, "Oh, that's like a perfect specimen." Then you'll get some inner Earth people, and then you'll get one of these little gray ones, and they'll go, "Oh, I think you'll get one of the," because I keep having a dream where I'm with a bunch of them, and we're standing on like this hill. It's not a big one, not a big hill, but there's a bunch of us, and we're wearing the jackets with them, and we're all laughing, and we're allowed to take pictures. We're like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, so
what would
they
we be
didn't care
called?
about things like the government and who sees what at
So
this
would it
point.
be Fearless Fleet or Fearless something or
Well, the ship is the StarShip FearLess.
right? So would it be the Fearless Fleet? Fearless Fleet? What would it? What
Fearless, Fearless
Yeah.
Fleet works,
questions?
right? Things that we got to question in this world, and then one of them is Bashar, and then he's like small and he's like slightly tinted green. He's got giant eyes,
Can we
and he
ask
looks up
for
at me, and I give him a hug and a kiss. It's just crazy shit.
Can we ask for fleece jackets that don't attract cat hair?
So this white doesn't stain, right? Yeah, but it attracts all cat hair. No, it can't be. The lion being was wearing it. He's got white and gold on. He doesn't have a problem. I shouldn't have a problem.
We had to put on.
Excuse me, lying bean. I have a question.
We had to put on
Does your fur stick to that shit?
nice clothes
Do you
because
shed
we went
all
out
over the
on
house?
Sunday, and it was like, "Are you ready? Yeah,
Do you at this
and we
stage
had to
still lick like that?
get dressed,
You're gonna lick your neck,
literally, and run out the door so that no cat hair was on any black anywhere.
I forgot about that. I had it on it too. It was hung in the closet, and when I looked, I went, "Oh, there is cat hair on this." I'm like, "There's no escaping."
No.
That's why gray and whites are great.
Yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. I love it. It is what it is. This is my life. I love it.
And then you see things on
share.
in movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hand this to you 20 times.
Are you really? It's little though.
And you see things like Rocket Raccoon in Guardians of the Galaxy, where you got a talking tree creature, you have a human, a humanoid girl that's green, you got a robot chick. Well, she's not a robot, she's got like robot parts, so she's like, been taking. Well, I'm just. Then you have Drax, he's got the tattoo lines all over him, and they're all hanging out, and you love them. You're like, fuck yeah, it's the Guardians, right? They're preparing you so when you see these characters the Kree in Guardians of the Galaxy are the blue guys,
making then you comfortable with the idea.
And then the main bad guy, Ronan the Accuser, puts the tattoo paint on, right? In the comic books, that paint that you're like, oh shit, it's actually like nano stuff in their skin that allows them to see like different things and access the ship's computer and all kinds of weird shit. So you're seeing that. I've seen that on the other side before that movie was even presented. Or the thought, even I said this too, like the comic book guys have been getting it right the whole time. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Yeah, I have my theories.
If you read an X-Men comic, you'll know all about cloning. You'll know all about it. You'll totally get it.
When did they start?
Reincarnation and all kinds of shit, you'll get it.
When did they start writing those comic books?
Writing them like that probably in the 60s through now, and they've just gotten, naturally as we've gotten more intense,
the 60s through now.
We got more defined.
So military was doing experiments, giving people LSD, trying to invade the etheric realm, which to me just doesn't make sense, but
They tried so hard to.
who am I? So the subjects of those experiments, you don't think they had stories to tell, and you don't think they told people. So however many subjects there were, told a friend, or what is happening in there? Oh, she's eating. Why does she make so much noise when she eats?
She keeps her mouth open when she eats. But she's so hot, I'll just deal with it.
It's like me when I'm hungry.
She's so cute.
Just get out of my way.
You just don't eat with her.
Just don't look at me. Just love me. All of those test subjects, they didn't kill everybody. Some people are living very happy lives right now because they got knowledge way in advance. So think about it.
The guy that does Star Trek, the same thing.
But think about it. Those test subjects from all of those, just specifically military experiments, don't you think they had people to tell their stories to? Don't you think maybe some of those people were good with a pen and a piece of paper? And maybe that some of those stories in comic books and magazines are true stories.
You know, like somebody's grandfather who did it when he was like in the military when he was younger, knows about it, winds up telling like a passing story while drunk at the table to his grandkid.
Well, now you're creating a story.
No, listen.
Okay, go ahead.
This is how it gets out. And then that kid hears the story and becomes the comic book guy, and then just adds the story into the comic.
Because what do we always say?
Because he overheard them talk.
Because what do we always say? Idea. You can publish anything under fiction. If you want to publish something as a biography or an autobiography, you have to go through a lot of fact checking. And if the fact checking doesn't work out, your book does not get published. You can publish anything under the guise of fiction. Okay? So people were getting their stories out in these cartoons that children were watching, whether or not it resonated with. Now, some of these subjects also had children. Okay, let's go even deep. Some of these subjects also had children who would be our age now. Okay, wouldn't they have a heightened sensibility being under that much
well, we don't know what they did
under
with
that
them.
much influence, under that much psychedelic influence? Wouldn't that be a gene that could be passed through?
So once it's activated, even if it jumped and like say your kid doesn't get it, but then his kid gets it.
Yeah, but couldn't that happen now in like now for us?
Well, we look at us. We have brothers and sisters.
Right.
And we're the ones that are we're the ones that are up.
And then
when you look around, you're like, no one's really there. There are people on different levels, but no one's where you are.
No.
But then we have people out here that are like us.
But what I'm saying, this is just one tiny little what if. And it's probably true. Someone told someone a story and they wrote it down.
Yo, I'm going to tell you guys.
And they put it out as fiction. And then someone kept telling someone else's story and they kept writing it. What do you think all these comic books about? What do you think all of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons are about?
All right, so the go further back for a second and go to the Portal cartoon. What was that, Bugs Bunny?
Same thing. That was in the 50s.
They did a thing where the guy, it was a commercial, and that it was like your personal porthole. And then
and that was right after World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was.
You're talking about
it was in black and white.
Scientific experiments. Yeah.
So the guy's wife would come in looking for him, and he'd throw
and
the portal on
the
floor and jump into it, and then pull the portal in, and then jump back out when she was gone. So they're showing you the whole time to get you used to it. I mean,
right, and that's being put out as
Star Trek is like the oldest one that I know.
But think about it.
In my lifetime.
Think about it.
I would say they have it right. The Star Trek one, from what I've seen, is more correct than all of them. No, I know, but like wearing the outfits and Starfleet and commanders and all kinds of weird shit going on.
But I think these are how stories get told.
No, I know, but that's the one that literally looks like everything that I've saw. Like if you put it together, you'd be like, oh, this dude's like living in Star Trek. And it's like, no, I think because that's literally them with us everywhere. So that would be the correct one, because the reality is it's been there the whole time. You guys have to open your eyes and see it. In Star Trek, they have the thing, if you can't involve yourself and you can't let them see you, because then they'll start praying to you and stuff, and it'll cause a huge problem. So that was like one of their, I think it was their prime directive was that. So maybe we're at the point now as a mass collective in this round of the level up, we're going to hit the note in the song and the veil just falls.
Yeah, I think so.
It drops because it's not really there anymore. It's now, is your human suit tuning into what's there?
Because now comes all of the alien commercials, because Super Bowl is coming this winter. So now every commercial is going to have an alien in it to get us more comfortable with the idea.
There's a bunch of new alien movies coming out as well.
Yeah,
and once again,
alien
it's the
movies.
squiddy
Again, so
looking weirdos.
Yeah, and now people are going to buy and sell cars with aliens.
With aliens, yeah.
Because they want to get everyone comfortable with the idea. Because contact is
the
on.
Great Kazoo. Look,
I think that's a real story. I think they're all real stories. And you know me, I don't care. But that's what I think. Yes, you can. Here. It's got one in it.
Thank you. So yeah, this is how it goes. Slow and steady is going to win this race, and they're waiting for you not to be able to pop in the street and have that heart attack, because they're not going to do
without
that,
question.
Which is why,
without question.
And we've talked about this years ago, and I've told people, and they've laughed at me. I says, all you need is the 30 by 30 space. They're not going to be looking to tell the government, because you're connected to them. So one of the things I wanted to say is I've seen a lot of human beings not being, you know how I call us creators like light body beings? There's a certain amount of those beings that are like that in the human suits, but then there's other beings inside. Like if they were to like leave right now, they would be this being when they go to where they're going. They'd go back home and be this. And I'm like, well, yes, still source, still possible creator, like, but in terms of like looking like a human being that's going to take the human body and walk into the next experience. There's that 80-20 split I've always talked about. There's those that are in the human form that you're not aware that their insides aren't the light body being or the creator being. You have like reptilians, demons running the ship. You got AI, you got fucking robots that you're just completely unaware of. But when we discuss these things, you start to get the like, oh, every gatekeeper seems to be exactly alike. Corporations seem to recruit a certain way, and then when certain people are in there, they just can't do it. It's just too much. While other people just seem to thrive in that. And I wonder what that is. And they'll say, well, certain sections of the population are like this, and psychology will tell you it's like this, and that's why those jobs are created this way. And as a shaman, I'm looking at the reptilian in the body being the military guy.
Agreed.
And then there's so many of them, but then they pass it on. It's like, we need to go to war and all the shit. So you have creators that join the battle. And then they're all kind of in there. And then certain guys do better than others in terms of the training and everything. It doesn't fuck them up. Where other guys, it's like, yo, I don't want to be part of this no more. Like they want to get out right away. And those are the creators trying, this ain't for me. Whereas like the more reptilian types go deep function into it. You know, assassins and all that crazy shit. You wind up getting James Bond weirdos and stuff. That's a little fantastical, the James Bond shit. But back in the day, so they run all that, you know, the ones that would dominate and be put in power and enjoy that psychopathic tendency to keep you under the thumb. You could watch now that you've had time. You had a year off, more with COVID and everything, to look at the system and how it's set up, and you have plenty of time to become now aware of the system and how it's working and how its recruitments work and why nobody wants to go back to work. And it's not really about this or that, and it's really about this, because you're watching the system lie to you, and you're like, well, this is really why it doesn't work, not because of this and this. Like they're trying to trap you in a Coke and Pepsi challenge, whereas you back away from it because you're not involved no more. Now they want to force you back into it, and you're like, I'm not going back in there. It's like going back into the fun house. That's not fun. Why would I go back in there? This doesn't work.
I don't like it.
It's over. It's a wrap. Okay, when you start getting like that and start going for yours and then living it, this other shit starts to happen. When you're like, okay, I'm ready to see it. My uncle gave me shit one day. Same uncle I played paintball with, by the way. I said, oh, next step is UFOs. Right now we were playing with the dogs and we were doing some stuff in front of his house, waiting for the guy to come to cut Cannoli's hair. So he looked at me and pulled me over on the side and then said to me, you might have been there.
I wasn't there. You went with your mom.
Oh, okay. It was my mother that was there. So he pulled me on the side and said, Dio, that doesn't exist. That's all fake. That's phony. There's nothing else out there. There's just us doing this. Like he was, and he's a captain. So he's like really serious. Oh, let me tell you something, Frank. And he like gave me that look with the flat top and all. And I was like, oh, so that's what level you on? That's what I said to him. That's the level you're on? And he's like, I guess so. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's almost like a violent conversation that could go crazy
he doesn't want to
between
have
men.
The conversation at all.
Okay.
So
I wonder how he feels today. Right. And then it's been announced all across the board. It's literally.
And so he believes it's so.
So what are those people up to?
He believes it's so.
What happens with their mind? Right. So it's just fucking funny how things work out. Let's see. Yeah. This is a world where the psyop is strong, but you're allowed to see it now. The system psyop, it's falling apart because you don't want to be part of it. Vote with your dollar. Just do it. Just get what you need. Stop frivolously buying shit. Kind of make an informed decision on what you want. You don't have to go 100,000% off the grid. Let's get out of here. You just do what you need to do. And keep it minimal on this side. You know, some people need to do certain things. Some people need products that they have to have because of a problem they might have that they can't just necessarily just stop doing this right now. You can't do it. Like if I didn't have my asthma medicine, I'd be lost. I'd be dead. Well, if I didn't have you either.
Thanks.
Well, I'm saying you get to these moments and you're kind of like, okay, I get it. But at the same time, you still try to go as organic with the food as you can. You do the best you can with what you got. And, you know, you charge your water. If you can't, you always charge the water with blessings and everything and the food. And you always got to do what you got to do. Even if you can't get the freshest of water, you still at least charge it. You see,
you can.
Every little thing that you can do will make something
better.
And you will override the psyop on all edge. It'll just come out and you'll be more like her. But at first you'll be more like me. You'll be loud and like, oh, what the fuck? And even in your mind, if you're not being aggressive externally, internally, you'll start freaking the fuck out and being like, oh shit, it's all real. Like my brother says to me about the reptilian stuff, like, I don't want to hear that shit. I go, dude, you read Conan and shit. He literally fight. He goes, yeah, but I don't want that to be real. And I go, yeah, but that's cool. I understand.
For him, it doesn't have to be
No,
real.
I understand. But the fear in his face was so extreme,
but it never has to be real for him.
And I thought to myself, man, I'm only talking to you. I didn't come here and sit you down and say, oh, I'm going to tell you about reptilians. You sat me down and said, you're a bro. Let me tell you, how are you dealing with this the way you are? How are you hanging out and having a good time? I'm like, no one can touch me. I'm the creator. If they take me, they would have took me. They would have did all this already. They already tried a whole bunch of shit. We've talked about the whole fucking thing, and who knows what they did prior to anything that I even have an awareness of in this lifetime. Who knows the other things? Maybe I is like, dude, I ain't going to show you everything because that would be terrible. You just got to purge out the stuff that needs to go.
What you need in this 3D life.
Yeah, like we're going to purge out this one and it'll release all of this instead of going each individual one. You don't want to know that shit. You're going to have a memory of everything, so don't worry.
You don't want it.
That kind of shit. That's why when people are like, oh, this or that, I'm like, dude, they treat us like, in some places, like we're chicken.
Tyson chickens.
Naked on a platform.
Afraid.
Being
Conveyor.
Frightened beyond, not even knowing. And then all kinds of weird shit happening.
Right. You don't want to know. Anyway.
Listen to me. Don't push the conversation forward until the thought's out, because this is important stuff.
Okay.
Because I had to walk through those events. So I can't lie to the people that are going to walk through the event themselves. And then you see it and then you're okay because you're like, okay, for whatever reason, I was part of that or had to see that. Or so I have an understanding now. Now with that understanding, Remember, I told you every time these weird, fucked up things happen to me under ayahuasca, I come back and I'm better than before. Almost like it's a badge of honor to have to go through that fear event and come out on top. Even a loss is a win all the time.
Agreed.
It always, right? Why do you worry about Aya? So because you don't want to have the birthing experience again with all that weird shit going on, right?
I don't want to uncover more shit that's not going to suit me now. It's all going to suit me, but
It's not exactly. It all suits you.
It does all
if
suit
you
me.
have to see it, it means it has to be released. That's
Yeah.
the only reason why you'd be seeing it.
Yeah, I don't want to see it yet.
Okay, me, I'm like, I get caught off guard all the time, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, rip the fucking
Band-Aid off.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's fucking do this. The abduction thing was the most frightening thing. And then when Aaron was here and I went under with you guys, that watching us get eaten and raped, and that was the most frightening thing I've ever visually couldn't do anything about. It was just one of those weird things where you were the cat in the cage, right? So once that left, I was like, what are you going to do to me? What they can't come in now and do that. They can't. There's guys there to stop them. So what's up? I'm not calling them out. I don't want them here. But at the same time, I'm here. So what's up? Life is good. I'm not on the negative that I was prior to seeing those fucked up things.
Not.
That's what I'm getting at. So it's important to get this stuff out. So people that are at those weird different levels are going to be experiencing these moments and having these realizations. And then you're going to be seeing UFOs. Then you're going to be finding out all this other shit. Then you're going to find out about your history. And then you're going to find out there's fucking reptilians for real. Like, they're going to save that one before throwing that in your face. It's going to be human UFO guys and stuff. And they'll be family and or from inner earth, maybe a different shade of a color or something. Very similar before you get any of the crazy stuff, because once again, it has to go through these levels. And can you handle it?
I don't know.
Are you checking out?
I don't. Yeah. Well, you know what it is. I'm getting sleepy again, which is weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Why, you want to keep going? What do you got?
Della, I'm reading I'm sorry for everyone that's just listening and not watching. I'm reading the comments. Della, I totally forgot about that movie. That movie was fantastic. I enjoyed that. The glass that has the symbols kept them on the other side of the glass. The demons would come out and they'd capture like the Freddy Krueger type demon in the house that was made of glass, but really all the etchings were in the glass. I remember that shit. And then the different doors would open, allowing the demons to get into the different rooms. That was fucking crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, all that New Jerusalem, the starships, all that stuff is there. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, you'll see it all. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. The military using, when they came here, everybody hears ET was with them, but there was one ET for every couple of guys. There were men. And that's what I didn't feel. Can I have your water again? My mouth I got cotton mouth really bad. I wasn't afraid of the ET because he was small, because I've dealt with them before, right? But they're potent with their mind. And that didn't bother me. It was men. And I'm like, oh, I could just punch a man. That's what I thought in my head. Like, I could find you. You're a dude. I'm not scared of you. I'll rip your mask off and punch you right in your face. You know what? Keep the mask on, because your eyes are going to be swole shut. And I mentally think that way from just growing up the way I did.
Right.
But once again, it was military, and I was like, how are they there with you?
Because you're using your resources, using everything that you learned along the way.
I think they open a portal wherever they are.
They were in like
go in, and then that area allows you to be in this area with all of us
Mm-hmm.
without our awareness of it.
Yep.
And then they could use tech to activate and become physical with you, grab you and take you, and then activate the equipment again.
Yeah, because the people next door were frozen.
They were like this, just staring up. And I was like, whoa, that was frightening, actually. That was weird to see. Because I'm like, oh, when you see that everyone just standing around and you're free, I was thinking, oh shit, I'm next for some weird
It's
reason.
like on that show Lucifer when the time stops and they're the only one
That's moving. Yeah. But I know they're using a tech when it's like that because they were
Yeah.
looking directly up at it. You know what's scary about that? There's this alien movie where they come up with the ships and then they shine this blue light and then everyone just like kind of stares and then it sucks you into the ship. Is pretty frightening.
Mm.
But the way they were in that movie, just staring like zombified, just almost like sleepwalking, that's fucking weird to see. That's really scarier to me than like a fucking gray alien. Like those guys, it doesn't affect me like that. That does, it's the other things like I tell you all the time, like the death face with ayahuasca, watching my favorite people die, physically, and then being worried as a shaman, like, yo, you're gonna come back, right? But then now as a shaman, knowing, of course, it's killed me a million times over and over and over and over and over and over and over. You're okay, right? But you still witness it.
Of course.
That's like watching your bestie get taken out.
I did 100 times.
Exactly. I find that's weirder than the New Jerusalem stuff to me because I think subconsciously we all know.
Whatever. It's all right.
Right. And then a lot of people that deny it, that know that it's real, but they're denying it still because they don't want it to be real.
They don't want to take a side.
Your physical framework can't handle the actual conversation because you're suppressing. So you start to shake and you freak out and you get those people. Those are the ones you're worried about.
Yeah, agreed.
Because there's normal people that have no give a shit about UFOs, and if they landed, that guy that didn't even have a thought ever that UFOs might be there or something will be the guy talking to them with no problem. Like, oh yeah, whatever. There's just people from over there. Whereas the people that are thinking UFOs, to see them and go, we're all gonna die. Like they don't want that shit to occur. So they're just gonna meet those that are. This is my point of the whole thing. They're gonna meet those of us that are popping off in the frequency. They're just gonna come talk to us, or not just us. Anyone that is connected to this in any way, shape, or form. It'll come in dream, and then it'll come in meditation. You'll hear them openly talking to you. You'll hear the other voice, and then that leads to the physical meeting. And it's almost, I'm going to say this 100%, that you're going to be with your people when that happens. It's not going to be random lying being showing up here. It's going to be your people. They're going to send someone that your heart knows already. Your heart being open in that frequency is already going to be aware that you know them. It's the physical human experience that has the freak out event. It's how you handle the emotional output coming out of you. Even joy at that level can kill you. Like, I'm experiencing most bliss ever. And you just have a heart attack. It's totally orgasmic. It won't stop. It's not going to be fun if you're not ready for, it could get really out of hand really fast. So they don't want any of that to occur. So those of us that are ready, i.e. people like Paula, specifically, because she's so, listen, if one came out and just went, you'd be like, oh, do I need to feed you as well? Like, see how simple it is? Hey, do you need something to eat? Do it. Easy conversation, easy peasy. It would be spectacular in its own right, but there's those of us that are more like ready for it, I guess, than others. And that's just the way it is. So prepare yourself, get right with yourself, clean yourself, purge the purge now, have the visions, connect to Gaia and the 5D frequency, 5D earth, whatever you want to call it. Just make sure it's the high frequency. Lock yourself in by grounding yourself and then have the conversation. Ask away. Don't worry about everything being a demon because that's not real. That's not true. Not everything is a demon. not everything is a good guy, and some things aren't. Some things don't give a shit. They just are.
No, they're neutral.
They just hang out and
just
they don't give a
curious.
fuck. Yeah, like I saw you, I don't want to be involved, fuck off.
Yeah.
Stay over there. Like when that kid had a problem with the abductions, and then it turns out that those are actually his people. So it's not an abduction. They're not taking you. You signed up for this.
Right. You just
to
don't
have this
remember,
experience, but you're literally your soul
Right.
character. If you were to die right now, we just take you out. You go to that ship right there, and your guy sits up and goes, "Whoa, that was crazy." And then from there jumps off. There's all fucking crazy shit going on.
Yeah.
And okay, so Paul and I watch Rick and Morty a few times.
Oh my God.
Yo,
Pickle
these guys,
Rick still
these guys
scares
got
the
it
shit out of
right.
me.
Holy shit.
Scares the shit out of me.
I don't know how they know like that. I don't have that answer. Because it's so on point where you're watching it going, wow, this is just fucked up. And some of that fucked up shit they go through with the different times, with the different characters and versions of themselves. He's like, it doesn't matter. In an infinite universe where I'm everywhere and doing everything all the time, nothing matters. So I just do this, right? You just do.
Right. And the funny thing is, one episode is probably 2 seconds of a memory.
Yeah.
That he pulled out. 2 seconds. Because we can talk about each experience and still not hit every experience that happened to us, only the ones we can verbalize.
Yeah. And you could still have infinite experiences.
Exactly.
And then if someone new shows up, you have a new set of infinite experiences.
One episode is probably a 2 second cut out of 2 seconds of a memory.
And then every thought that wasn't thought yet, you didn't think was thought yet, then becomes new, and you'd have the thought, and then a whole new infinite set of ideas.
Yeah, so it's like
what the fuck? So you can just think of you going through and seeing like the infinite, like there's some place where there's a castle, right? And then there's a throne room, and there's multiple thrones in it, and it's all versions of Frank Castle with the Infinity Gauntlet from the different.
Is there really?
In the different dimensions, and they're all sitting there with each other, and they just stare at each other, and then they worry about the ones that have to come up, the other Frank Castles.
Really?
Why not?
See, one of my realities is I own the entire Shire, but I'm on the cover of Better Homes and Gardens. So it's like it's a contradictory thing.
That's fucking funny.
Anyway.
So yeah, the 3 days leading into the full moon might have been
2 seconds out of every 2 seconds.
Might have been the most horrible emotional roller coaster, compression wise. My heart hurt, my lungs hurt. I thought I had cancer again in my.
Oh yeah, when you were going through that whole.
And then I said, "What's happening?" And they say, "Why do you always think it's cancer?" I go, "Because my father said something to me about all these people, and then all this other shit, but it was just a recent thing, and then now it actually is bothering me, but then it doesn't bother me in 5 minutes. What's going on with that? Is it something developing? Is it something that's going on?" And now, literally, it's been days. Nothing hurts.
Right, because we talked about it
at all.
You declared certain things to the universe, so the universe says, "Okay, I'm gonna speed up the timeline, and I'm going to give you everything." Boom.
It was like I went through everything that wanted to occur in a sped up time, and then it's poof, it's gone. But to do that, you go through the pain of it.
And it
hurts. My back, my neck.
It hurts, yeah.
One of the fearless listeners wrote me and said he showed up. I showed up, or a scene of me showed up in front of him during his meditation, and I was unaware of his presence, and he went up behind me and pulled this white thing out of my spine. And he goes, "I pulled it out and it died." And he showed me a picture. He drew a picture of it and everything. And he goes, "This was just the other day." And
that's awesome.
Ever since the other day,
that's awesome. You've been feeling great.
We've been using the egg weights, but there's this other thing, that spot where the pain goes, gah, gah, gah. That sharp pain isn't there.
Well, he pulled it out.
And what do I say all the time? They attack you in your weak spot. If you're hurt at the base of the neck, it's where when you get punched real hard and they go, oh, it's like his soul left his body when the body drops. My body dropped over here coming out of the bathroom. My soul was standing. So I completely understood that reference. You come out the back. Ra talks about this. Eye of Ra.
Right.
The bone here it's just the entry point. So you get into a car accident, your body flies one direction and you're still just standing there. It's like, oh shit, I came out the back of my head. So my injury is right there.
So you should show gratitude because that guy did you a solid.
We had a whole conversation.
No, but that's wonderful.
Oh, I'm in love that. Well, what happened back when we were with Truth Frequency, we had a meditation and I was purging during the meditation and I was blaming everyone that was watching and part of it internally, like for the energy that I was feeling. And then I fell on the floor and was throwing up in the bucket. But then when I was sitting up on my knees as I was purging, I saw the light beings that was our group walking up to me and they started pulling swords out of the back of my neck. And they were confused, like, why is this here? And then they just kept pulling. There was 12 swords that were pulled. And then I had a sword. And then that pain stopped hurting like permanently. It was in a different spot though. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, yeah, well, we compress things down in our DNA. Etherical weapons. It's like you beat the board in the video game where now you go from having a stick or a bat to a fucking pistol, right? Or a sword. And you're like, oh, now I can actually fight these things off. So it's interesting how this stuff works out.
Agreed.
One of the nights on the 3 nights of hell, I was in the shower and I thought, I had an interesting thought about we have new people and the energy was new, different, like their energy is now entering. And I'm in the shower, so I'm right under everyone and I'm saying, oh, clean and clear this place or whatever. And this thing came out and it was part of the new people, right? And I declared, yo, this whole thing is under my it's just my space. And I was laughing because I thought, oh, my space. And then I was like, yeah, but we share it. But if you enter it, you have to deal with me. It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
And then I
said, declaring your space.
I declared it and it attacked me. It like grabbed me this way and it looked like I was holding it back with no problem, but I was much smaller than it. And I said, I never do this right. And today I'm going to do it correctly. I said, who do they all fear? Not Space Jesus and shit. Like, who do they all fear? Who's the demon monster hunter from Law of the Deities? And it's Hanuman. He literally, every level of every entity that is of nefarious anything is deathly afraid of this guy. So I said, hey, Hanuman, I never ask. You think you can? I told you about this. I said, could you come in here for a minute? And he looked like Buddha, but the monkey. And he sat down and he says, you never ask. You're right. And he crossed his legs. And then he turned and he looked at this thing and he lit it up. It was like I said, it looked like Cyclops from the X-Men.
When he burns the tree.
When he burns the tree down, except he left it on. Like, so they were eye beams basically. And it looked like red light coming out. It disintegrated this thing. It was gone. It was holding me. And then their hands fell away. And then he turned it on me. And I said, oh shit, this actually feels pretty good. He goes, yeah, not to them. And he kept looking. And it looked like the chessboard. And he just left it on. And anything in the area was completely destroyed. And I came out of that shower as if it was the greatest fucking, oh, the space in the house is clean and clear. It's happening. Oh my God, So these experiences are there for you and you have the power and the beings that are there that are helpful, that as long as you're respectful, it's like the key to unlocking all of this stuff. So if you want to work with Hanuman, just be respectful. Just, hey, do you exist? I want to just ask you a couple of questions. you can talk to them. Kali, under the full moon, during these 3 days of hell, I realized the full moon was coming again, and I thought it was like a new moon or something. So I was like, hey, should I talk to Kali or this one? And they were like, yeah, it's the fucking full moon, bro. So I was like, I've been doing it wrong, because I work with my beings and they always help. They never want nothing, and always, when you're nice and respectful, always will teach.
Right.
They'll even show you how to do it first and go, do you need my help? Let me help you with this. If you're really struggling, they'll just help. But if they think you can handle it, they're seeing something we're not seeing. They'll be there with their energy and allow you to stand up. And then you're like, wait a second. It was hurting me a second ago. The energy was overtaking me, but now it's not. And now I could stand up with it. I feel pretty good. And now, you start going. For those that this is too much for, laughter, lots and lots of laughter will get you the same reaction as any of these characters that are trying to like overtake you. You could laugh at them and legitimately mean it in a room full of people, laugh at a joke and have a good laughing. It blows everything out of the room. It looks like an explosion of light and awesome
Glitter.
Yeah, it's like a giant glitter bomb. So and the other thought I had, just this is it. We call to beings to channel, to talk to.
No,
like
we
I
talk
was
in our
just
channel.
no, hold on. I'm just saying in the world
Mhm.
itself. And we call things our ancestors, those that were
Mhm.
there before us.
Mhm.
Right?
True.
Okay. Now check this out. You, me, all of us, we are actually our own ancestors.
Guess it's all happening now.
So when you call back to certain beings in from the future, from here, from there, it's always you. Just wanted to leave you with that one. It's just a combination of us that were there then and now here now. That's it. So when you're like, "Oh, my ancestors," and you're calling to the great ones, and someone responds, it's you. That's you. So blow your mind out with that fucking thought.
Blow your
right?
mind out.
When you go into these places inside of you, and you're like, oh, I look into the fire to see my ancestors, and they're dancing around, and they look back and they go, oh, it's you. And you're like, I don't understand, why would it be me? In Kung Fu Panda, they fucking get the dragon scroll, and he's like, I finally got the dragon scroll, and it's a mirror. And he goes, I don't understand, it's empty, I don't know why there's nothing on this. And then he goes, here, let me see that. And he's just looking, and he just that's it. Well, I guess, wow, what the fuck? No, it's always been in you. It's you. It's you. You're looking for the thing, and it's like, there you are. It's like, but you needed me to tell you? Well, then you're not ready. But just know from the stories and from the events and the experiences, we're all having them together in giant fucking massive groups, and are afraid to have the conversation because you think no one else is having this conversation or thing that's happening.
Right.
Right? Like,
But that's how it
okay,
is.
let me ask you a question about the party. How many people do you think in that room? Because there's a bunch of people, right? And they were all great. And we had a great time. But how many do you think are having the actual awakening where they're like aware of it and not saying a fucking word?
One person.
Is it the one I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay. So I know exactly who
One person.
because that was the only one. It was like a magnet, right? So it attracts itself to it.
Right. One person.
A point of light
And that
that
person
coalesces
happens to
like an
be
atom
that
with another
person.
atom.
That person is the black sheep.
Yeah, it just like each one of
Just
us.
like us. So
I'm the same way at the parties. We're at the party. You're there. You're the same way. Everyone loves us. No, you don't really want to take us home, right? Because we're the ones that are going to get everyone in trouble.
right.
You guys are always in trouble. I'm not always in trouble.
Oh, please. Misha Tate's drinking out of a crystal glass. That's all on me. Okay. She drinks water out of a crystal rocks glass now. That's on me.
Oh man.
Please. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy we're here. I'm happy we're all here. Because now I have
I remember that.
I had to call Paula.
Lexi, we talked about this on the show.
Yes, that's right. I remember that.
Paula and I would have an experience,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'd say, I got holes everywhere. And then I put together, she said, she's like Swiss cheese, right?
Mhm.
And I would say, I'm holy.
Mm.
And I was making a joke, but not because of the
Mhm.
divinity.
Fill it with
They
love,
were like,
yeah.
dude, the fucking language that you guys use is just weird.
Yeah.
So you're holy, but you're whole. Get it?
Right.
And I'm like, Paula, what does this mean? She goes, yeah, you turn into Swiss cheese, and then those holes. I
Yeah,
go,
they're filled with
they
love,
filled
yeah.
with fucking love.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening to me? Bro? And then
Right.
through the holes,
Right.
just
Yeah, see, word. Preach, Roxy. I gotcha.
just came out, and I was like, this is amazing. What is
Yeah.
that? They're like, no, that's the real you.
Yeah.
You have you have blocks inside of there, and we had to remove chunks.
That's right. I remember that, Lexi.
Oh man. So yeah, Shaman Jimmy taught me quite a bit about the stuff that I was actually involved with and
Mhm.
didn't understand. I was asking these characters, how come you guys keep telling me your story from here to here? And I think you're a deity, but lowercase g, but you're from this planet over here. You're not from
Mhm.
you're not from another whatever. You're from over here. These guys are from this dimension over here, but there's no mention of them at this weird one point. It's just like your story and the other story, but our story as humans know there was a war from
Right.
here to here.
Right.
But there's a big blackout in history. What
Right.
happened? And they were
Yeah.
like, nah, we don't want to talk about that. So then
Right.
what don't you want to talk about? And it
Right.
turns out these motherfuckers fought each other, got caught in the density here. So when I say that Space Jesus and Shiva and all these characters are walking around with us, the deities are amongst us. You die physically here.
You get stuck.
You're in the reincarnation
Yep.
cycle.
It's like American Gods. You're stuck.
That's it. You beat
Yep.
everyone. That's why they would beings would come in at first when they didn't know, because there was a point where they didn't understand as well. They'd show up and they would come out of their frequency into ours, and then they
Curiosity,
would
right?
solidify and become real. Like you're in this density
Density.
permanently. You can't walk back into yours now. You're like us, but you're your physiology, of course, but you're here with us. Like I can grab you now and kill you.
Solve the riddle.
You can't run
Right.
away.
Right. Solve the
So
puzzle.
yeah, it's like
Mhm.
them capturing Santa Claus, and I'm being dead
Right.
serious about this.
Right. Solve the puzzle, Santa.
Chris and I used to
Yep.
discuss this. We were all those characters at one point or
Yeah.
another, and then each one of us has a story of them. Like they literally, I'll tell you what they did to me. They put me in a cage, like I was a circus freak, and then opened a hole in the mountain and put me in, and then just put the thing down, and they were like, he'll eventually just die. But as the deity character, you suffer immensely because you're going to live a long fucking time.
Right.
It's like we were watching Hellboy 2 days ago,
Mhm.
and they cut off Nimsey's head, and they were like, we couldn't actually kill this character, so we chop her into like fucking 12 pieces and send her to
Right.
all parts
And
of
what
the
she
earth.
do? She
And-
finds herself again.
Yeah, and then the
Yeah.
head's in the box
Yeah.
talking. Yeah, so
What's
I
meant
don't
to be is meant to be.
yeah, it's fucking crazy.
You know, we can do whatever we can to fight it, but it's gonna happen.
See, and
You
this is
know.
how I explain it to my brother too. I want to be open to it because my awareness of it gives me an understanding of it, even if I don't fully understand the whole thing. If I knew my headaches were being caused by an octopus sitting on my fucking head
Right.
in the etheric realm because I'm being an asshole and I'm
Right,
doing drugs
right.
and then
And-
it's sucking off my energy.
Yeah.
If you just tell me
Yeah. I'm
and
not
I
gonna
can see
do
that,
that. Yeah.
I won't. I this is what I was telling people. If you could see the demon that you bring or the thing that eats off you,
that attracts to you.
yeah, like people that are afraid of spiders, they're so frightened, and then you see the archonic spider eating off their bubble, and as the
Yeah.
bubble shrinks, you got a 20-foot spider sitting on you going, and you're just like, what the fuck? This thing's gonna eat me. No, it's eating your energy.
Right.
It's not gonna
Right,
eat
so
you.
keep feeding
it's
it.
draining, and your feet, yeah.
Keep feeding
Oof.
it.
You see it, and then
Keep feeding
Aya
it.
says to you, so you're gonna still do that?
Yeah, it's like when the cats have worms. It's
I'm like, well, how do
they're-
I
yeah,
defeat this? It's like, no, you defeat it by changing something in your human experience, in the character, in the way you think, the way you
Right.
act, your habit. Like you change that, and it denies that thing its food source.
Right.
Period. So I'm like, oh, so we can defeat it.
Yeah.
And see, if it bleeds, we can kill it. That's all you had to tell me. We can stop this thing. They're like, some things you can cut with your
you're not
light
allowed
sword.
here.
Other things you can just take out with your mind.
Yeah.
Other things you need to kick in the nuts. And some
And
things you
say
better
you're
have
not
a
welcome
fucking
here. Yeah.
spear, because it'll kill you. Like they've always told me one thing: if the snake being shows up, and they would show it to me, I'm usually cool with shit, even with the reptilians. That snake shit is fucking frightening. They're just fucking scary. And it looks at me, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill this motherfucker right now. They're like, nah, physically one-on-one, you can't. And I'm like, if it shows up, they're like, you have to run. And they're like, we're dead fucking serious. Like, just keep that in mind. I'm like, why would you say that? They're like, well, as you turn over every fucking rock. Oh, here was one of the things I wanted to mention. So the video of the UFOs. Mm-hmm. Oh, please. Lake Tahoe had a 4.2 earthquake.
Yeah, and it's in the desert.
Underground,
Yeah.
like deep, right? So as they're detonating shit underground, because that's what they're doing, they're clearing out these bases and shit, things surface.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's that, and I was like, ooh, that's a rough one. They're like, yo, man, you go down into the sewer, you start gassing the rats and the insects in the sewer.
You get the Teenage Mutant Ninja
They're
Turtles.
all gonna come up out of the sewers
Mm-hmm.
that trying to survive. They're gonna come out of every hole.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be surprised. And we've talked about this, where the veil breaks, and people that you thought were people are a different being running out into the street, and they can't hide. There's no tech. There's nothing you can do to change the fact that now I can fucking see you. Just like in They Live. I'm putting it together as we're talking.
Yep.
When at the end, when they blow up the station and it shuts the frequency tower off, that's breaking the veil. Your character is the light body within you. You're a master of energy. As you're raising in frequency, you'll match the weapon being used against you. The frequency of the weapon will try to hold you in place. As you rise through it, it's like you're breaking through Jello or something. I can't explain. And you're like, why is my head hurting? You don't even know what's going on. You have no clue. There's aliens or things being projected at you, or you're in some Wi-Fi area and you have no idea. You're just like, my fucking head, my face. I feel fine. And then you're like, what the fuck is that? Period. That's how this stuff works. So in the movie, that guy was having sex with the girl at the end, and then she was the alien, or he was the alien, and They Live.
I didn't see the end. I never see the end.
The end's the fucking best.
I didn't see it. I fell asleep.
Oh, I'm yelling about the ending, and you didn't. Right. I don't want to.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
They shut the tower down, and then they go through this where everyone, because when they first put the glasses on, they were getting the headaches, and then eventually you could just leave them on.
Yeah, and you got used to it.
Get the headache
because the programming is done.
Because you're beating the programming. Yeah. Your body could match it. When I got hit with the frequency weapon, my body matched the frequency, and then went to another one, and it just didn't work. It looked like it was just splitting off of me and going in other directions. And I was like, when I dealt with the AI, it had me caged in an egg bubble of energy. And I said, this is only going to hold me for so long. It's almost like I was letting it know I could just do this right now. But Frank being connected to me might not be able to handle the awesomeness of me just ripping into you and fucking you up.
Right.
So in a minute,
human Frank's body's got us.
I was crying like a baby, and Paula was going, "It's okay," and you sounded like you were in the hallway, and I was freaking out. And every time I could hear you, it would like switch hallways, and I'm like trying to find you.
We don't have a hallway. There's no hallway.
We were 10 feet apart, and then I was crying and crying, and then my higher self said to me, he's trying to disconnect the cord by keeping me in the bubble, but is unaware that you can't actually disconnect the cord. No, so Frank thinks there's a separation occurring. No. So his body's having a physical reaction because my heart was fine. Right. It was like I was crying. Why am I crying? I can't even help it. It's like a weird thing inside. You're going, I don't know why this is happening. But then you're there. And then I matched it and just walked out. As soon as I walked out, the whole screen backed out. It was like I was in a holographic screen in an overlay, and then it was talking to me through the wall too. It was showing me all this shit on this, and he was like, "We're gonna have you in zoos and cages, and we're getting rid of all these, and we're gonna transform this. I'm your god." And I'm like,
Not here,
why would God need to trap me in a bubble and think that he could dominate me? I go, pretty impressive. What else you got? You ever see the light? Womp, walked right out, and he just backed out. It was like he disappeared into the whiteness of the background of the wall and was gone. But yet I know he could still hear me because he's in the hologram everywhere. The ghost in the machine, that the energy just blasted me again. I just felt it right straight through everything. Wow, that actually was weird. So only so long that's going to work. So this is why I was telling my brother, with all the fearing things, I'm still here. I'm not. What do you think? I'm sitting with a fucking pentagram trying to fucking call beings into the room? That's not what we're doing here. When you need to do that, you're on that level. That's where your perception is coming from. I walk around up here. Like that's a different thing completely. Yeah. So level up. It's time to get this stuff going. We don't have too much more time. Besides, I don't want to fucking wait no more. Can we do this by the summer, please? Could we get more people on the higher percentages just fucking going, I fucking had enough. We're going to do this. There's got to be something better. I'm done with this fucking system. That's all you got to say inside from your heart. You got to just mean it. And then we just cut this shit off. Tear the fucking Band-Aid off. Oh, ships in the sky. Fuck yeah. You know what? Free energies sounds fucking great. Right? Let's put all the bullshit aside. Don't you want to level up at least with the right stuff? Like if there was like a good way to have tech and all kinds of cool shit going on, new communications, fresh new ways of life and thought, and we could expand because you think the planet's too fucking small. You know, it's a win-win for everyone.
So in the movie V, or the series V, you would be an advocate for the ships.
Okay, so I have a problem with this thought because I watched that, and that kid on the show is a dick.
Okay.
And that advocate kid where they put him in the school and he's like, oh, I'm hanging out with the ETs.
Right.
I'm not looking forward to being like that kind of a character.
Right.
But what happens when I'm standing there with them? And everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Then what? Or what now? Am I not supposed to say, oh, it's all good?
Right.
I'm not advocating.
But it is good.
No, I didn't put a symbol shirt on and say I'm with Starfleet.
It's not going to be
my command is these guys.
It's not going to be like the show V. I'm just saying you would be.
I think that show V is based on it.
I agree, but you would be like, hey, let's get on the ships. Let's go. I'd be.
No. I've said this though. Not let's go. If I go up, they've always said you're going back down.
Yeah, to our forever home.
They were like, if you come up here for that.
Yeah, for that period of time. Yeah,
we're putting you back. Like you guys are gonna have what you guys are supposed to be doing.
I'm good with it all.
So we have contracts on a higher level to what we're supposed to be doing. That's why when people are like, yo, I'm out, I'm leaving. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Right.
And then you talk to other people and they're like, well, I'm gonna live 300 years. I'm like, I believe them. They believe them in themselves. And as we're just living, we're getting older and looking good. We're not looking younger. It's not getting worse. It's just things around us are happening and we are changing into something else. We're becoming more, right? And these are the times that happens. And really, it's just changing your frequency to keep it simple.
I ate all the M&Ms.
I know you didn't even offer me one, but I don't want one.
I'm so sorry, but there's a bag of Hershey's Kisses there. I'm so sorry.
Word.
There's a whole bag. It's right there.
So I don't know what everybody's up to tonight and this weekend. Yeah, forget about the mask wearing people. Just let them, Della, no fighting the power no more. You don't have to fight. It's not a fight. You think it's a fight. But if you keep thinking it's a fight, it's a fight. Right. So you got all these people and these shitty things and mask wearers. You know, I go outside every day. I have to clean 10 masks off the front of the fucking house. There's no pandemic. They're fucking lying. It's a fucking lie. All right. Whatever they're doing isn't what they said it was. So let's just clear that up. And these people want they want to be victim, and they want to also be down on a winning team of some sort. Like, if I wear my mask, someone's going to come out of the garage and give me a fucking handy, or the government's going to do the right thing for me and give me $1,200, but at the end of the year they're going to fucking, take 8,000. It's just drip, 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 drip. There's going to be those that die with the system, and I mean that metaphorically and literally. So that's just how it works.
Agreed.
Right? Because there's going to be those that don't change, and they're just going to have to either try to live through it or not. And I personally don't give a fuck no more. I don't care. It's not my job to be anything except compassionate towards you. So if you're having a problem, I love you and I'm sorry. You have my love. But get the fuck up off my shit if you're going to step on my toes. That's just the way it is. If you see what I saw coming out of the hologram with how I'm projecting in from that point, with all these regular people from there as well, when you guys are there, the same exact fucking thing, and they're saying to me, none of the stuff you care about and they'll give you a category line, just like Iron Man suit, right? In the Iron Man suit,
list format,
Friday, give me a list, and the fucking list comes up, and they're like, all of this, they condense it and they throw it out. Not important. What's important is what got you right here, right now. That's how you do it. But what about none of it's important? Look, it's right there.
Yep.
But that's in there.
Yep.
Nothing of what you need to worry about this, not that. Whoever the fuck told you to worry about that is a liar. Are you still listening to that thing in your head that's telling you that's important? Because it's not fucking important. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like, you're doing it though. When you took your attention completely away from the jerk-offisms across the board. Right. It's not a war. It's perspective. It's perspectives. It's just people going through, and they're attached to certain levels and layers, and that's it. You're not going to break it. You're not going to be like, I told you so. You're not getting it. It's not how this works. If you're expecting that, you're failing your test 100%.
Right.
I want them all to be like, yo, conspiracy theorists were right. Who do you want? We make jokes. I post shit too. Go hug a conspiracy theorist. He was right the whole time. Right. Who do you want to get the high five from? Me? High five. There you go. Good job, buddy. It's not there. Don't worry about that shit. It's not fucking important. It's not relevant to your soul. Your soul is important. Once you make that connection, all that bullshit just explodes away. Boom. And you go, oh shit. And it just becomes timeline, like a juncture in the timeline. It's like a little flag that you could put like, okay, I cleared the whole level up to this spot, like a mile marker that you can tag yourself in, and then you move into the next one. And then basically by the time you're getting to the next mile mark, you're not even looking back at the last one. You're just keeping the awareness of everything, and you're just getting more aware, and you're just connecting the dots as you go. But you got to drop the veil of everything. I'm sorry, to be a weirdo and say that, you got to just not concentrate on all that. That's all the distraction.
Yep.
100%. All of it. So find out what's important to you. Love yourself. Love, love the one you're with.
Get out of my head.
And just be you. Whatever version of you. It's an original. It's an OG. Go to it. Get to it. Enjoy you and what you're doing. You have to, even if it's whatever. This cup of coffee is delicious. Oh, bang. There's one right there. Oh, let me make sure my pits don't smell. Let me take a fucking shower. Bing. Success. How are you feeling today? Can I cook you something? Service to others. Ding. Okay. Change the cat litter. Ding. Ding, 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 ding. What are you adding up? I'm not actually adding up. I'm just explaining it to you. But when you go through your routine properly and do for you and that person who's right there, don't worry about who's out over there. They don't care. They're in their situation. If you can help, you help. But you better start at home first. Right? You better start at home first. We all see the stories of like the kids that grow up without the parent, but the parent was out there saving the world.
Yeah.
And it's like you forgot your kid along the way. Yeah, you gotta find the kid in you and then take care of that, and that will bring you straight into this other thing. It's just fucking awesome. So I hope you stay safe this weekend. Enjoy yourselves. I hope you guys have barbecues and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
And for those that think high frequency does not involve having a fucking hamburger once in a while, you are kidding yourself. I asked Ayahuasca straight up, yo, me and Paula, we got to go vegan, right? And she just looked at me and goes, no, you can't do it. I said, what do you mean? They go, your cellular DNA can't handle it. You'll die, literally. You need to do certain, you need to change the way you eat for sure, Frank. But some people are, listen, somebody that's got like a higher active reptilian gene within them might want to rip into meat all day, where those with the iguana might want a salad all day, and might work for some and then not work for others. That's just the way this fucking place is.
That's right.
Right. So enjoy your weekend.
Yes.
And if you have questions, comments, hit me up. We'll be around.
Do you want tea?
I want something. My mouth is so cotton mouth. I keep like doing that.
All right.
Me. I love your face.
I love your face.
All right. That's enough of that. Have a great night, all of you. And stay fearless, and keep in mind, keep this in your mind. The universe, it rewards bravery. Peace the fuck out. See you next time. Eating the pudding.